All right, my friends, we are here. We are getting ready. We have news breaking that a verdict has been reached. We've got the source pulled up here. We are live waiting for this thing to happen. And of course, soon as it breaks, we will be covering it here. It is a beautiful Thursday. They tell us there's a verdict. They don't say it's a note. They say there is a verdict. And of course, we're wondering what that might be. Let's see what they're reporting now.
They needed to get to something
There's some activity outside the courtroom.
I think the jury instruction was pretty pro-prosecution.
It's Trey Gowdy.
I think a lot of the evidentiary rulings were pro-prosecution.
Yeah.
So what you're going to get with a verdict is pretty much what you've gotten up to that point. What are the rulings? What evidence has come in?
Rigged.
What evidence has
Rigged.
been excluded?
Rigged, Trey, is what the answer is there. So we're going to keep our eye on this. We're poking around. There may be some more breaking news that comes across on the X platform. So a bunch of people in the courtroom there as well. So as we're tuning in and out of Fox News, we'll also see what's happening out there. We have our friend Inner City Press reporting. Lee is also there breaking. He says Justice Merchan has said that the jury has sent a note. Says they've reached a verdict. They need 30 minutes to fill it out. Inner City Press wrote the book on this. Of course, you know where you can follow him. And so he's there reporting. They're going to give us about 30 minutes. They're going to fill out the form. What does that mean? If they're filling out the form, I have a hard time believing it's not guilty. I have a hard time believing that all of the 12 jurors came back and just said not guilty across the board. We're hopeful that they did, but not sure about that. So we're bracing for impact on that. You saw the thumbnail, and the headline of our thumbnail today was Trump wins either way. So let's take a look. Jury is entering.
To me, of the difference between this
Perhaps.
case and the big cases I've been involved in.
This is live currently on Fox.
In federal court, in big cases,
Turley's in the court.
Judges are they're loath at the idea of stopping the defense from proving things that the defense says are essential to their case. So in these big cases where you don't want to get reversed and where it would be a real resource strain on the system to have to retry the case.
Jonathan Turley's reporting. He says, wow, the judge was mistaken. He said the judge was reading a note from 420 today that we reached a verdict and they were asking for 30 more minutes to fill out the form. Before that, he says, wow, the judge was mistaken. The jury has a verdict. They are not asking to leave early. They have a final decision. Says it's hard to see this as a positive for Trump. Yeah. If they were a hung jury, it would be a lot, there'd be a lot more problems. They wouldn't have a verdict. They might have split something. We'll have to wait and see. However, those who bet on Thursday appear prophetic. The judge seemed surprised, was waiting to dismiss them for the day. Seems too early for an acquittal, so the bets are on conviction. Yeah, I think that's the right assessment. They would need a bunch of time if it was just not guilties across the board. So they might have split, or they might have come back out, heard the instructions from this morning about reasonable doubt. And on our Membos stream this morning when we were talking about this, one theory was Judge Merchan's on the bench.
So the bias is usually...
One thing we were talking about was if the judge, if it's going to be quick, it's going to be one or the other. But they came back, they asked for some additional reads, some more analysis. And one of the requests was to learn more about the rain. The analogy was, or the metaphor, if you wake up, you go outside and there's water on the ground, and there wasn't water on the ground when you went to bed, did it rain outside? And you can use your inference and your reasonable observations to conclude that people have umbrellas and all this stuff. So it must have rained.
Prosecution is pleased when...
And so the jurors came out and they heard that reread and they said, oh, we can infer. Oh, it makes sense. We can just analyze things sort of how we want to. So he came back. He's reading a note from 420. They're asking for 30 more minutes to fill out the form. See what the form looks like. We'll be going through this together, my friends. Glad you're here. So we'll keep our eye on multiple locations. We've got Inner City Press also reporting. We'll see what you say as we go through this. Inner City Press. We've got, let's pull up Gutfeld. I know Anna Bauer's over there. And we had a full show prep, by the way. We had a full show prepped. But this, of course, is breaking news. And it changes everything. But I was a little bit more prepared until this happened. Of course, we're also hopping on early because this is historic and we cannot wait to see what happens. All right, so we've got, let's take a look at Gutfeld. We'll also take a look at Anna Bauer, who does great reporting on this. We'll see what everyone else is seeing and just check in. So Anna Bauer, Gutfeld says the jury just entered 39 seconds ago. Little to no eye contact with Trump. All right. So jury is entering.
Election law violation, which even though I only allowed it for credibility, the truth is he's being charged with aiding and abetting Trump. And so this is a very
All right, so the judge is addressing the courtroom according to Gutfeld right now. They're not looking at Trump. And keep our eye out. Guilty on the first count. Jury finds Trump guilty on the first count. The remaining counts are being recited. Adam Gutfeld. That's the verdict. So from X, we have a guilty verdict. Let's see what Anna Bauer is reporting. This is about to be expected, my friends. They might go straight down the line for all 34 of them. Quick note, internet is not working there. Jonathan Turley's reporting. Let's see what Fox News says.
A lot of this was smoke and mirrors. I can understand that if
Adam Gutfeld continues the reporting. Remaining counts are being recited. Guilty across the boards.
Okay, just to let folks know.
Count 2, 3, 4, 5, all the way through 10. Guilty across the board.
And so we are looking now. It looks
So
like we have
Fox News is getting the memo.
some of the verdicts coming in. It is quickly coming in here from inside.
Turley's got the verdict.
We are starting to hear that there are guilty. There are guilty verdicts.
Fox News reporting.
From our producer inside, we're hearing guilty on 1 through 5. 1 through 12, we have now 13, 14 guilty. 15 guilty. You may hear there are a split of folks here who have been protesting on both sides of this
Guilty all
case.
counts.
Some cheers, some boos. As we are now getting the information
34
from
guilty
the jury.
counts.
We're up to 18 counts, 19
It's okay, my
guilty.
friends.
Remember, we have 34 here.
It's okay.
20 guilty. And again, these
This was
counts
to
were
be
very
expected.
similar. What they were looking at, it was different occurrences essentially of the same crime, a misdemeanor that was elevated by being linked to
34
a felony,
counts guilty.
to an underlying crime. We are now 24 counts in, all guilty from inside. This is what we are hearing from our producers. Up to 26 guilty. Now remember, each of these counts could maximum have 4 years in jail. President Trump would be considered a first-time offender. These are non-violent crimes. So it seems that it is unlikely the judge would sentence him to prison, but we are now up to 31 counts guilty
It's 34
out of 34.
guilty on all of them.
32 guilty, also coming in from inside the courtroom. Our producer's now saying 33 and 34. They're saying guilty on all 34 charges. That is where we are at. The jurors, it looks like we're going to leave for the day. Suddenly we get this verdict. It is 34 guilty counts on all of this. I want to bring in Andy McCarthy, who's here.
All right,
with
so
me,
about what
Judge
we
Janine as well.
expected. Now, my friends, I know there's a lot of emotion out there, and I know this is a absolute shocking travesty of justice. But they have done something here that I don't think they even understand what they've unleashed. It's going to be a reckoning. There will be a reckoning. This will have some serious consequences, and it will, I think, be in Trump's favor dramatically. I don't think it's going to work out well for them. We'll see how it plays out. Now, we're not going to be done for the day because Trump is in there, and the judge is going to have a conversation with him about release conditions now that he is convicted. And here's McCarthy.
Partisan adversaries. Whatever you think of the results, it's inconceivable in New York that anyone else other than Donald Trump would ever been indicted in this way by Alvin Bragg, the elected progressive Democratic district attorney who campaigned on the fact that he would go after Donald Trump, that he had a history of going after Donald Trump. This is a very political exercise, and you have to say that it accomplished what it set out to accomplish. What they wanted was to have a situation where they could call Donald Trump a convicted felon in the run-up to the election.
Yeah, but it's
we
meaningless.
We have an elected Democrat who got that accomplished. He got a very friendly judge who ruled his way on every important thing and turned the jury instructions into a roadmap to conviction.
Exactly right.
So now I assume, with the mission having been accomplished, we'll have more procedural regularity, Shannon. As you just said, there'll be a pre-sentence investigation. There should be a sentencing scheduled. Yeah. But this case
and
will be
release
appealed.
Conditions. We'll have to ask ourselves: is the judge going to remand Trump into custody today? Of course, he's got 34 felony convictions now. So since he's got 34 of them, he must be a danger to society. So is Judge Merchan going to actually remand him into custody? Let's go through this and see what Inner City Press is reporting on this. Here's how it broke down. We're going to continue to unpack all of this, of course. And I know, my friends, I know there is blood pressure rising and exploding out of our skin because we love our country, and it's a shame to see it going this way. But there is a silver lining in all of this. The hubris, the arrogance of this other side is going to galvanize the opposite side, our side, in a way that has never before been seen in this country. So while we might be watching here today 34 rigged felony charges and convictions, they're all going to be overturned. This was a sham and a scam from the beginning. It'll work its way up through court. This is a temporary loss today, but what it's done is it has exposed them. They now have revealed themselves, and we get to see and observe. And there will be a reaction to this. There will be a lot of response, and it will all be peaceful, and it will all be patriotic, and it will all be in alignment with our civic responsibility to get engaged, get involved, and make sure what happens in 2024 is the right outcome. But while this is a down, it might also be the victory ticket to the White House. So here is how it went down from Inner City Press. Blanche was whispering into the prosecutor's ear. Hours of radio silence. Judge Merchan emerges. Says, I'm going to release the jurors for the day at 4:30, but I wanted to let you know. Todd Blanche is whispering into Trump's ear. Now Blanche is whispering into the prosecutor's ear. Did anyone ask the jurors if they wanted, as was floated by the judge, to stay until 6? Merchan came out and says, we received a note. It reads, we, the jury, have a verdict. Give us 30 minutes to fill out the forms. Trump has his arms crossed in front of himself. Todd Blanche whispering in his right ear. Notable, eyes closed. Merchan says, are we ready to bring out the jury? Government says, yes, Judge. You may be seated. Clerk, do all parties stipulate the jurors are present and properly seated? Yes. Yes. Judge says, your note was signed at 4:20. Clerk announces, will the foreperson please rise? How say you to count 1, foreperson? Guilty. Count 2, guilty. All the way through to count 34, guilty. Judge Merchan releases the jurors, says, I thank all of you, did exactly as I guided you to do. Thanks for playing. Including the alternates, you are free to discuss the case with anyone you want. The choice is yours. In a few minutes, I would like to meet with you in the jury room. I am not allowed to discuss the facts of the case, but the verdict is in. So, of course, it is a shock. It's really a tragedy. It's a moment in American history that will be etched in stone. It will be taught in the law books, what's left of them. It will be taught in the history books. The left will turn this into a giant victory party for themselves because they just lavish in the downfall and the decimation of their opponents because they have no purpose, meaning, or joy in their lives. So for them, it's mission accomplished here today. But we know that the people of America get pretty sick and tired of bullies. And when you have bullies and cheaters and liars who have singled out one man with 4 different criminal prosecutions, not one like any other banana republic, 4 4 brought by elected people to go after Trump, like Alvin Bragg, and illegally appointed people like Jack Smith, all violating his constitutional rights to due process, confrontation clause, and so on. But what that does, I think, with many Americans is it energizes them. I don't know about you, my friends, but I feel more energized when this stuff happens than ever. So, okay, well, we're on the right path. If these people will cheer the downfall of their own justice system just because they're willing to it's going to take out their opponent, that shows you what kind of people we're dealing with, right? Completely lacking in integrity. And they have captured this little enclave of America, but the rest of America will respond. Let's see what Fox says.
What that was going to be essentially until the closing arguments and the jury instructions from the judge yesterday.
All right, let's check in.
He gave them choices. Trey, we've talked about this many times, that they had choices. Will we ever know what choice the jury made with linking this to an underlying crime?
There are only 2 ways you'll know that, maybe possibly 3. On appeal, arguably, the government could be forced to explain what that second crime was. Maybe it's in the special verdict form and we haven't seen it. It certainly wasn't read to the jury. It wasn't polled. The jury was just polled, which means each individual juror was asked, is this your verdict and still your verdict? We don't know what that secondary crime was. Or a member of the jury could talk. They're not required to. They'll be told that they don't have to, but sometimes members of the jury will talk and they'll say this was that extra crime that we found.
What do you think, Andy? The judge there talks about how people are going to react to this in different ways. You know, we've got a tweet out now from Donald Trump Jr. He says, guilty on all counts, the Democrats have succeeded in their years-long attempt to turn America into a third world blank. November 5th
crap hole
is our last chance to save it. So tough news for the former president legally, but politically, does he get a boost from this on the campaign trail saying, okay, they did what I told you they were going to try to do to me. Now you have to elect me. And
yeah, he's going to get a boost, I think, big time. And in fact, he is not, according to the recent polls that just came out, not even going to have any problems with the conviction because everybody knows what this is. Many people are still living in the old justice system where people thought that the justice system had meaning because government officials have badges and the name prosecutor or attorney general or a U.S. attorney. They are thought as people with integrity, honor, morality, and all this stuff. Now we know that is not the case at all. And polls show people recognize that they're bloviating about justice in America and how they're on the right side of history is not true. They don't buy it. They think that they're liars and bullies and cheaters. And there's a new poll that came out from CBS and Marist, and the show is not 100% prepped for this, but I did have this clip for us to review. So let me show you this poll. This just dropped today from CBS, and it explains that there's not much consequence that is going to result from any of this. In fact, here is the poll. Trial won't shift much attention, won't shift much at all. Whether it's guilty or not guilty, CBS News just posted this May 30th today. So while the left is doing backflips over themselves, like Trump, oh, he's a felon. First of all, I think his polls are going to go up 5 points. He's going to make a bunch of money in donos, and a bunch of us are going to be energized seeing, we told you so. All of this is weaponized. And we saw Michael Cohen come out and lie. We saw Stormy Daniels come out and lie. And the country saw that. But does it have any consequence? As the jury deliberates on Trump's criminal hush money cases, 2 in 3 registered voters say a guilty verdict, like came out today, would have no effect on whom they plan to vote for in the presidential election. Overall, 67% of voters said a conviction would make no difference for them at all, including 74% of independents who don't care. That's a significantly higher number than the percentage of either Republicans or Democrats who said it wouldn't change their vote. In fact, 25% of Republicans said that they would be even more likely to vote for Trump if he were found guilty. Good. That's good. While 27% of Democrats said that they would be less likely to vote for him, a split that underscores hardened partisan perspectives on candidate Trump. Democrat strategist Simon Rosenberg, he says, if Trump is found guilty, which he was, I think it makes it much less likely for him to win. But Democrats don't need it in order for it to win. Yeah, some people are saying that. You don't need to move a bunch of people. But 76% of U.S. registered voters say that they will not vote any differently if Donald Trump is found not guilty in the hush money case. So people are pretty much baked in on this. And they're not... Oh, is Trump speaking right now? Let's see. Thank you for the heads up, my friends.
And it's okay. I'm fighting for our country. I'm fighting for our Constitution. Our whole country is being rigged right now. This was done by the Biden administration in order to wound or hurt an opponent, a political opponent. And I think it's just a disgrace. And we'll keep fighting. We'll fight till the end and we'll win because our country's gone to hell. We don't have the same country anymore. We have a divided mess. We're a nation in decline, serious decline. Millions and millions of people pouring into our country right now from prisons and from mental institutions, terrorists, and they're taking over our country. We have a country that's in big trouble. But this was a rigged decision right from day one with a conflicted judge who should have never been allowed to try this case, never. And we will fight for our Constitution. This is long from over. Thank you very much.
All right, Mr. President.
Are you going to drop out? You believe in the rule of law? You trust the jury? Are you
Let's just recap that.
And you know, as a prosecutor
recap that. We
and a
missed the
judge,
first
my
minute.
job
Let's
was
just
to make
recap
sure that the guilty were convicted and to make sure that their people's civil liberties weren't taken away. I understand the president's coming out.
Okay. Yeah, Judge, if you'll hold on just a second. We see President Trump now. He is walking out. Let's listen.
Trial by a conflicted judge who was corrupt. It's a rigged trial, a disgrace. They wouldn't give us a venue change. We were at 5% or 6% in this district, in this area. This was a rigged, disgraceful trial. But the real verdict is going to be November 5th by the people. And they know what happened here, and everybody knows what happened here. You have a Soros-backed DA, and the whole thing, we didn't do a thing wrong. I'm a very innocent man, and it's okay. I'm fighting for our country. I'm fighting for our Constitution. Our whole country is being rigged right now. This was done by the Biden administration in order to wound or hurt an opponent, a political opponent. And I think it's just a disgrace. And we'll keep fighting. We'll fight till the end and we'll win because our country's gone to hell. We don't have the same country anymore. We have a divided mess. We're a nation in decline, serious decline. Millions and millions of people pouring into our country right now from prisons and from mental institutions, terrorists, and they're taking over our country. We have a country that's in big trouble. But this was a rigged decision right from day one with a conflicted judge who should have never been allowed to try this case, never. And we will fight for our Constitution. This is long from over. Thank you very much.
All right. Okay, so that was short. Yeah, pretty short statement there. But Mr. President, he's standing strong. He is not worried about it. He's going to fight. So reassuring all of us is what he does.
Very ominous, but I know that people worry if they feel like they can't have confidence in their judicial system.
We don't.
We know that when it comes to Congress, when it comes to many of our institutions in Washington, polling shows us, whether it's Pew or Gallup, there have been a lot of them in recent months and years that have showed people they're worried about the underpinnings of our country, and they want to be able to trust them that no matter what their position, their politics are, that they're going to be treated fairly once they get into the court system. Now, John Yoo has a piece. I talked to him earlier in the 3 o'clock hour. He has a piece out today saying that this is already, no matter what the verdict was going to be, it's already damaged the presidency, and that folks on both sides of the aisle now have to consider that this is the way business gets done.
Yeah, well done, idiots. Yeah, well done, morons. So they broke glass in case of emergency. We now have criminal charges for president. We live in a insane country now, an insane country. All right, so let's check in to see what's happening in the courtroom. We're not done yet. So the verdict came out, but the attorneys are still inside. Trump came out, popped out. And before that happened, he says, Todd Blanche, the defense attorney for the president, as soon as the judge excused the jurors, says, I want to meet with you. I'm not allowed to discuss the case, but I'll meet with you afterwards. Says Todd Blanche came out, Your Honor, we move for a judgment of acquittal here. There is no way this jury could have reached a verdict without relying on Michael Cohen. He lied in this case. He cannot be used to convict President Trump. Judge Merchan says, what? I'm sure you misspoke. Merchan says, I don't know that anyone committed perjury in this case. No one lied in my courtroom. Your motion is denied. And then, so that was quick. Then Todd Blanche says, Your Honor, we ask for a date for sentencing in mid to late July. There is a 3-day hearing in Florida. Counsel must be in a skiff for that time. Says sentencing will be on July 10th at 10 a.m. Schedule a probation report. Trump has to go meet with probation. Motions must end by June 27th. Is there nothing else? Yours excused. What is the bail status? Mr. Trump remains ROR'd, released on his own recognizance. So he's not going into custody. Now the day is done. So Trump came out, he spoke, he said a couple quick things for about a minute and a day, and that's the trial. So sentencing is coming back July 10th, 10 a.m. That's it. Not a big climactic ending. It's exactly what we expected. 34 counts, guilty, all of them. Donald Trump in New York. The case was rigged from the beginning. And when we went through those jury instructions, we were sitting here wondering how they could find him anything except guilty. There were so many options in there, and they could infer whatever they wanted based on Michael Cohen, who's a bona fide liar. And so the prosecutors duped our justice system. The jurors bought it. They hate Trump. They got Trump. It's exactly what we expected. So they are probably celebrating. In fact, we can take a look and see what some other comments look like on X and see if there's anything interesting in the immediate reaction. Oh, Michael Cohen's gloating. Oh, okay. My friends, don't break anything in your house. All right. It's going to be okay. Honestly, I know we're furious, myself included, but it's going to be okay. This is all going to come back to bite them. They're going to be a little gloat fest today. They're going to do cartwheels. They're going to, Engeron's probably busting out his nipple paste, whatever's working out over there. They're all very happy. Tish taking her shoes off, stinking out the courtroom. Fanny's getting Grey Goose, going out with Nathan Wade. They're all having a lot of fun. Don't break anything in your house, all right? Well, we're actually gonna win now. It's really, I think, it's solidified in history. So here's what Cohen says: guilty on all counts. Team Cohen. He's gonna be on TikTok later today. In his meaningless life. So they're all excited about it. He's of course a liar. Officially in the court of law. We have Rand Paul says, how long can our republic survive once partisans have taken over the justice system? Not long, Rand. Not long. Not going to work out so well for us. Republicans against Trump's a piece of work account. So they're having, I have to follow these accounts for our content here. It's not like I enjoy it, believe me. I do it for you because I love you. Libs of TikTok, Amuse is in the house. Saying, President Biden has announced he's going to address the nation after his party's conviction. Is that going to be happening now? What will Biden say? Will he seek to unite or divide the nation? Let's see.
To 90% of the
Is that Judge Janine? All right. We've got Amuse is reporting that. Let's see what else we've got on X. Jonathan Turley is responding with a hot take, his immediate reaction. He says, I obviously disagree with this verdict, as do many others. I believe that the case will be reversed eventually, either in the state or federal systems. However, this was the worst expectation for a trial in Manhattan. I am saddened by the result, more for the New York legal system than the former president. I hope that the jurors might redeem the integrity, hope that they would, of a system that had been used for political purposes. But no, man, no, it's pure politics. Yeah, we're not playing. Like, I appreciate Jonathan Turley. He's a gray hair. He's been around for a while, and I can't even imagine what. I'm shocked about all this. But guys who spent another 30 years, longer than I have in the system, now watching this whole thing crumble around them, it's like, holy crap, it's shocking. It's not about justice at all anymore. And many of us, myself included, had hoped that we could, claw some of that back. But it's going to get a lot worse before it gets better. This is probably a trajectory that we're on. Fanny gets away with whatever she wants. government prosecutors can bring in literal liars as their star witnesses. It's going to get worse. So this is where we're at. I think it's going to galvanize a lot of people in this country. They're going to get behind Trump in a way that they never would have. And then when he wins, maybe they will have similar types of cases brought their way. All right, so let's see what else. That's from Turley. We got Corrine Taylor Robinson is reporting. Tucker Carlson has a take. What's up? Robert Barnes is in the house. We got Thomas Massey is reporting on this. Here's what Tucker says. Import the third world, become the third world. That's what we just saw. This won't stop Trump. He'll win the election if he's not killed first. But it does mark the end of the fairest justice system in the world. Anyone who defends this verdict is a danger to you and your family. Good stuff from Tucker, man. He's pretty good. Shout out to Tucker. Nice take. He's right. These are lunatics. If they're coming after Trump, and Fannie Willis will stack cash under her bedroom while she's going on cruises with Nathan Wade, that's the justice system. Now, so solutions, of course, location, consider where you live. If you're in Fulton County or New York, might be a good idea to do something about that. Thomas Massey's here. He says guilty on 34 counts, but no one even knows what the underlying crime is. Partisan hacks serving as judges, investigators, and prosecutors have turned our legal system into a farce at both the state and federal level. And there is ABC with their guilty scoreboard. You're going to have a lot more of that. Kind of has a flashback to the COVID death count scoreboard. Remember that? Back in 2020, they needed the death count every time someone died of COVID, whatever that meant. Even if you're 97 and you got hit by a bus. Oh, that's a COVID death. So they marked that one up. Checkbox ticking away on the camera every day. Same thing here. Guilty, 34 counts. We'll see what the White House says about it here in a minute. Oh, Turley's on. We like Turley.
The judge allowed the jury to find guilt on any one of 3 secondary crimes. We weren't told whether the jury found any one of those crimes, whether they found all 3 of those crimes. I'm not too sure we will know that. That's one of the many issues that I think presents reversible problems in this case. So what I would say is that this is a historic moment. We all have to take a breath. But for those upset by this verdict, remember this remains a country committed to the rule of law. And this is going to go up on appeal. I think it's going to be reversed in the state.
Who's committed? Jonathan? I love Jonathan, by the way, so no disrespect, but no one's committed to the rule of law. Biden is orchestrating this whole thing from the top, from the DOJ, from the Attorney General's office. The DOJ, the FBI have been ransacking the law for a decade now. Anyways, it's
or federal systems.
Yeah, I know you're
but
not
it's
here
moments like this when you're on the other side, when you disagree with it. You have a system in place to review this. For Donald Trump, that's not going to happen before the election in all likelihood. But let's keep in mind that this is not the only court. It's just the first one.
Well, and there have also been jury trials and judges and decisions that have been made that have already been tough for the former president in other contexts, too, in the business context, in another personal case involving E. Jean Carroll. I mean, there are other decisions that have been made against him that have been very difficult. They've been in New York. What do you think that portends or does not with these other cases we have pending? Georgia, it doesn't look like it's going to get to trial before we get to November. You've got the 2 federal cases. We're waiting for the Supreme Court decision on immunity, which could come as early as next Thursday. We get opinions then again. What will that case mean to all of these things that are pending or have already been decided? When it comes to this question, we heard the arguments there at the Supreme Court. There were 2 extremes. Anything and everything the president does, you can't question any of it. There must be full immunity from any kind of criminal activity. 2, there's nothing. There's no protection from him.
Yeah, and then there was
we
a middle
know the
ground,
justices
too,
are
about
going
the
to
outer
land,
perimeter.
we think, somewhere in between, not go with those extremes. But how critical now is that decision as we wait for that?
Well, it's very critical, both in terms of the law and the timing. The court did seem to reject the extremes on both sides. They didn't like the extremes of the Trump team in terms of the sweeping immunity, but they also didn't like the Court of Appeals approach. They felt that it gave too little recognition of the needs of the office.
All right, so analyzing the SCOTUS case, which will be coming out soon, we also have some more reaction. Jim Jordan has a statement. Julie Kelly's out with one. Cernovich has a statement. We got the Trump Jr. statement. Megyn Kelly's got one. What's up? Sean Davis has one. Inner City Press is there on the scene. I think he's there. Oh, this was just live. He just posted this. So here is what it looks like outside in Manhattan. And you see, oh, there's that woman from ABC or MSNBC. Hang on. Let's pause, Turley. Sorry, Jonathan. We're going over to Inner City Press right now.
Turn it around here so you get another sense of what's happening.
Come on, X. Come on, give it to us. Let us have the feed. Here it is.
I don't know if the flags are out. Looks like they are.
Oh, he's live. That's why.
Ironically, Robert Menendez is on trial. Senator, Democrat,
all right, so that's what it looks like out
Jersey.
there. That's live.
Devastating evidence of
Inner City Press reporting.
It's not just about hush money for a porn star, but I digress. He's got some good defenses. Maybe a better lawyer. Right. I don't know. Adam Fee, he's pretty good. Anyway, don't think this one turned on the lawyering. We've got it. Right. Wow. Now you got this whole thing. It's quite a scene out here. We're going to keep running. We're going to keep rolling with this. As we head over to see if Big Bob Menendez. There's another guy. Well,
all right, so he's continuing his reporting. Inner City Press, you know who he is. We're grateful for his reporting. He did an awesome job bringing this all to us and laying out the details, getting us through the trial. They're still here with Turley. Let's see what some Congress people are saying and what our friend Robert Barnes has to say. So we got 34 counts, Trump guilty on all of them. We're getting some reaction, some hot takes as people are responding. Barnes over at vivabarneslaw.locals.com, our friend next door, says, what a judge says doesn't make it law. What a jury says doesn't make it true. What a prosecutor or cop says doesn't make it fact. Remember this as the Trump verdict should teach us all. The corrupt accused him of being corrupt precisely because he isn't corrupt. Trump is innocent. Good comment there from Robert Barnes. We got Jim Jordan and the judiciary responding. Congress now has something to say about it. Jim Jordan came out. He has a statement on the verdict. House Judiciary Committee, Jim Jordan released the following. He says, the verdict is a travesty of justice. The Manhattan Kangaroo Court shows what happens when our justice system is weaponized by partisan prosecutors in front of a biased judge with an unfair process designed to keep President Trump off the campaign trail and avoid bringing attention to President Biden's failing radical policies. Americans see through Democrats' lawfare tactics, and they know President Trump will be vindicated on appeal. That's from Jim Jordan. We also got Julie Kelly's been doing some amazing reporting. Says Trump quoted us, this was a rigged, disgraced trial. The real verdict will be in November 2024. Great line. We got this one from Cernovich. What's up to Cernovich? Says, even though the outcome in the Trump show trial was preordained, one cannot help but have flashbacks to sitting in history class and reading about the Soviet Union. Their systems seem so strange, incomprehensible even. Now, it's upon us. And here, it's here. We're in the middle of it. And we want to see if the Biden people have responded to any of this and if they're going to be doing a little press conference or gloat session as they promised us they would. Cernovich says, today's a day that will live in infamy. We got Lindsey Graham's weighing in on this. Graham says, I expect this case to be reversed on appeal and for Donald Trump to be elected president in November of this year. Robert Barnes is sharing a war comment. Here's Attorney General Ken Paxton. Here's what she says. He says, Ken says, From the beginning of the sham trial, I stood by President Trump. And my support for him is stronger than ever. As Attorney General of Texas, I will unleash every tool at my disposal to fight this blatant corruption and political persecution spewing from New York and the Biden administration. From Ken Paxton with a take. Now, let's see what else we have. Bowtied Bull, if you're in the crypto space on X, good follow. Bowtied Bull says, by being convicted, they have essentially sealed his fate as the winner. USA politics is worse than celebrity meme coins. Glad none of this matters for success. He faces a maximum sentence of 4 years in prison, though others convicted of that crime often get fines or probation. Incarceration would not prevent him from campaigning or taking office if he were to win. Now, the other consequence of this is the sentencing. If that happens in July, before the debate, what happens if he gets sentenced to home confinement? What happens if Judge Merchan throws him in Mar-a-Lago and says you can't leave? Then is he allowed to attend the debate, Judge Merchan? That will be curious. Matt Walsh is here. He says Trump found guilty on all 34 counts in a sham trial where the result was preordained before the jury was even selected, calls it a total travesty of justice. Dave Smith, you know who he is, says, wow, Trump found guilty. Viva says they have found another Rubicon to cross. A lot of hot takes, a lot of reactions here. Oh, good. 9mm SMGs in the house. Says, wow, I can't believe they found him guilty. Yeah, a lot of reaction. Mike Johnson dropped a statement. Says, today is a shameful day in American history. Democrats cheered as they convicted the leader of the opposing party on ridiculous charges, predicated on the testimony of a disbarred and convicted felon. This was a purely political exercise, not a legal one. Oh, nice to hear from you, Mike. The weaponization of our justice system has been a hallmark of the Biden administration, and the decision today is further evidence that Democrats will stop at nothing to silence dissent and crush their political opponents. The American people see this as lawfare, as they know it is wrong and dangerous. President Trump will rightfully appeal this absurd verdict, and he will win. So it's a nice statement as well. Would be nice if they actually, did something. Does he have any power? Is he in Congress or something? Very curious. We've got Fox News has an update. Let's see.
President Trump found guilty on all counts. Judge Jeanine's been here. She's been able to give some comments, but you've got some other people here with some thoughts. And Greg, let me start with you as
all right, let's see what Greg says.
Right here, right about 5 o'clock.
I'm not that surprised. This thing always felt preordained. It feels more arranged than a marriage in Kabul. I guess that's why I'm not that broken up about it. The man thrives on adversity, and so do the American people.
I think that's
fair. And this
fair.
kind of only adds to the persuasive power by proving his point that if you are a threat to power, they will try to just destroy you. Yeah. And I do believe that, Americans love the story of a lone man battling a corrupt system.
Yeah, it's
with
Batman
his back against the wall, as opposed to
That's
some
the same
invalid
thing we've been saying.
who is now the villain. When you're in this story, and these are all stories. There is a
Trump
villain and there is a hero, and we now know who the villain is and who's behind this. What we just saw something with our very own eyes, but we don't know what was going on behind the scenes. And I believe that there was a conscious collusion of allies that came together. It's pretty obvious, with a private strategy to eliminate a common shared adversary. This happened before with in the election. I think it was Time Magazine that wrote about the cabal, the cabal. Thank you. I said cabal earlier. Government, the legal system, the media. So what we saw was the outcome. What we didn't see was everything leading up to it, what was done secretly. And then we get this trial, which is paraded publicly. But we didn't see how this happened. I believe that they just gave Popeye a gallon of spinach laced with steroids
Greg.
and meth. And
Whoa.
I think you're going to see
Is
this
that Hunter Biden spinach?
The numbers aren't going to go in Biden's favor. I think this will not only solidify the base, it will radicalize it. It will infuriate the independents and the undecideds. And those who see Biden as a desiccated barely alive person will
walking corpse.
Be, I think, energized by this.
See
Yeah.
President Trump right now on your screen left.
Yeah, good call. Good comments from Greg on that. So
He's going to be heading back.
looks like
to
Trump is getting his
place
motorcade.
at Trump Tower. One thing to your point about spinach
Yeah.
and fuel, the Trump donation site crashed a few minutes ago.
Whoa!
And it's still down, which means that, I think to your point, that the base would be energized. WinRed apparently also having similar problems. The sentencing would be July 11th, Jesse. That's 2 weeks after the first presidential debate and 4 days before the RNC convention gets started. So it's all crunched.
Yeah, Trump was found guilty because he beat Hillary and is about to beat Joe Biden.
Let's go, Trump.
I thought I'd be angry, but I feel this cool resignation, this resoluteness that we're wounded as a country and we're not going to go down, that we're going to get back up.
All right, we're going to get back up for sure. So this is Geegum Geegum. The Geegum work has already memed it up. Indictments, spinach. Trump is about to get some serious biceps or forearms. I think they're forearms. All right, let's get to it. We also got some reaction because a lot more people are now posting. So here is what Vivek had to say. So Vivek posted this. Says, the prosecutor is a politician who promised to nail Trump. The judge's daughter is a Democrat operative who literally raised millions from the trial while her father presided over it. The jury instructions says they didn't have to agree on the crime to convict. And this will backfire. Yeah, I think so. I think that's right. Vivek came out and said that. Patrick Bet David is out. You know who he is on YouTube and elsewhere. He says, expect two things as a result of this. One, more businesses leaving New York, already underway since Tishy and her trial. And two, and now massively continuing on because you are now falsifying business records. Okay. And number two, polls reacting positively towards Trump's favor. Americans are not dumb. What the left hopes this will do will shockingly surprise them. Future looks bright. Only the paranoid survive. Yeah, good comment from Ableist. I think everybody it will obviously remain peaceful. Everybody is already peaceful. The people who are not peaceful here are the feds who cause insurrections at J6. But of course, we want peace and love and harmony, and to win and to obliterate our enemies politically. Obliterate them. Politically obliterate them. What is Cohen the Barbarian? See our enemies driven before us and the lamentation of their women, or something like that. Peacefully though and politically, and I mean that seriously. Even speaking aggressively, even speaking in threatening manners, they are prosecuting people for that. There are Proud Boys and other J6ers sitting in custody right now because they're weaponizing speech in our country. So I joke about that stuff, but it is serious business. So we want to be mindful about that. All right, Trump apparently is in his motorcade.
Biden is going to make some sort of statement, regardless of the outcome. He's going to make a statement from the White House.
Yeah, we're going to see if he's going to do that or not. We're going to keep our eyes on that. But all right, so that came out from Patrick Bet David. We also have End Wokeness is commenting on this. He says, Judge Merchan just announced the sentencing will be on July 11th. Oh, the RNC begins on July 15th. Sure, it's definitely not about the election. What is best in life? That's right. What is best in life? Conan the Barbarian. Greg Abbott says this was a sham show trial. The kangaroo court will never stand on appeal. Says Americans deserve better than a sitting president weaponizing our justice system against a political opponent, all to win an election. We must fire Joe Biden in November. Greg Abbott from Texas, from the great state of Texas. We're still waiting to see if Biden has a reaction. Megyn Kelly's out here. Shout out to our friend Megyn Kelly. Says guilty on all counts. The country is disgraced. Alvin Bragg should be disbarred. They will rue the day they unleash this lawfare to corrupt a presidential election. Such a good point, because they keep saying that Trump tried to rig and interfere and steal an election. And they're literally doing that right now. by weaponizing the government against him for made-up charges. And they'll come through. Their new talking point will be a jury of his peers convicted him. Shout out to Megyn Kelly. We got Sean Davis has put the death of America on this day, which I think was a little longer than I expected. I think it died in 2020, but maybe she was limping on, and today's another day. Dead again. Good to see you, Shaun. We got Gutfeld, of course, reporting on this, and we wanted to see if the Biden White House has released anything. They said that they were going to have a comment. Nothing so far. And we're keeping our eye on what's happening. Oh, Alvin Bragg is here. Alvin Bragg says today a jury found Trump guilty on all 34 counts. Yes, Alvin, and you were instrumental in the whole ordeal. Well done. He came in, I think, for 1 day or 2 days, the last minute, and celebrating away. Now, Julie Kelly has a good comment. She says, Republicans stood silent for 3 years as the Biden DOJ and the FBI investigated, raided, charged, prosecuted, and incarcerated 1,400 Trump supporters for J6. They not only tacitly endorsed it, but they funded it. So, of course, this unprecedented conviction of Trump would be the natural result. Yeah, today's verdict is as much an indictment of the GOP weakness and the cowardice as it is the lawless Marxist tendencies of the Democrats. What a great comment. Exactly right. It's kind of where she said it a lot more astutely than I did. But that's when I was mocking Mike Johnson. I'm like, oh, great, Mike. Yeah, thanks for being outraged today. Where the hell you been? It's been going on for a long time. It's not like new. It's, wow. Things were so egregious in that trial. I'm outraged that America's justice system is under attack. Where the hell you been for 3 years, Mike? Julie Kelly in the house. All right. So should we see what they're saying over on some of these other networks? Should we just poke around and see what the whack jobs on MSNBC are saying since we have this pulled up? All right, let's check it out. So we are going to see, let's see what CNN says. So CNN is now live, and let's see what these weirdos are talking about.
Kristen Holmes is joining us as well. Kristen, I mean, the jurors had requested the judge's instructions be reread to them to exactly hear again the instructions from him. They also wanted the details of that meeting in 2015 that took place at Trump Tower between David Pecker, Michael Cohen, and Donald Trump. That was the original meeting to kind of talk about being the eyes and ears of the campaign. It was a phrase that David Pecker had used by his testimony in that meeting. It was a meeting we learned during the trial called by Trump and Michael Cohen in order to reach out to David Pecker to find out what he could do for his campaign to become president.
Yeah, and clearly after the jury re-looked at all of that evidence, they came to the conclusion that Trump was guilty on all counts. Now, I am told that Trump is livid. Now, we were told by senior advisors, by people around him, allies, when he was calling them late at night at Trump Tower, that he was saying that he thought it was likely that he would be convicted, blaming the fact that the jury was based in Manhattan, saying that most Manhattanites had a left or liberal-leaning tint, so he thought that might happen. But when it comes down to actually happening, Donald Trump has tended to believe that he is Teflon, that nothing can actually stick to him. So this did come as
give me a break. Okay, so, well, we'll see if this matters. You guys make it matter. You say this is a huge deal, and every American should now be shocked and outraged that a convicted felon 34 times is running for president, and we'll see if they are. My guess is they're not, because their alternative are people like this, Nicole Wallace. Oh, gosh. She's on MSNBC. Let's see how excited she is today. Look at these two. They're thrilled.
Late chilly spring to our we come into it hot and fast, or when we turn to summer. There was something, and I think this is what you're getting at. This was sort of democracy in action, but it lives right next to, as Rachel keeps pointing out, a
Why?
test that
Because you guys
starts right
elected
now.
someone to take out Trump.
I've been on the air
Bragg
since this
to run for
happened, but I
office?
don't think everybody is sounding your grace notes, not about the outcome, because we we would have had the same responsibility as hosts and as journalists if the outcome had been different, or if it had been split, or if it had been hung. And our respect is for the judge and the jurors who did their civic duty, who evaluated the evidence. And if it had turned out differently, that wouldn't have been on them. That would have been on the people making the arguments.
You're trying to oversell it, lady. You're trying to explain a little too hard, okay? No, we care. We would be honest if it went the other way. You guys go bananas when Judge Cannon says anything. You guys have a total meltdown.
Fair enough. First, I just want to say it's this very interesting contrast. It was a majestic day. The room where it happened is homely. You know, it's part of our justice system in the country that is very sort of work-a-day and undistinguished, but it's where the law happens. Look, this battle that you're rightly raising now has been on the horizon before the trial, after
All right, that's enough of that. That's all we can take. So that's what MSNBC sounds like. We just saw what CNN sounds like. We're going to keep our eye on what's happening elsewhere, but as it stands, I think that covers the news on the day. Trump is on his way back, and he's done in court. Now, we'll see what some of the questions look like and some of your comments say about all this, but this is also from Trump. He just posted this on True Social, which I think was his statement that he gave. So Trump posted this. He says, "This was a disgrace. A rigged trial by a conflicted judge who is corrupt. We will fight for our Constitution. This is long from over." This is long from over. And apparently the donation site has now crashed. Let's check that. Let's see if it's back up. Let's see if we can go. Oh, man, it's broken. Oh, no. WinRed. You go to donaldjtrump.com. Website is down, baby. Our engineers have been notified. Honey Badger error. Oh, man, I hate this error right here. 78286B54-60. I hate when that happens. It's the worst. So they're working on it. They're going to fix it. And then we can all go make donations. Won't that be fun? All right, so that is from the president. I wanted to see if there were any other interesting reactions out and afoot. Donald Trump Jr. came out, posted this. "Guilty on all counts. The Democrats have succeeded in their years-long attempt to turn America into a third world crap hole. November 5th is our last chance to save it." From Trump Jr. Let's see, any other Republicans coming out? Any other reactions? Molly Hemingway is here, says, "What Democrats did today in New York won't hurt Donald Trump. It may even help him. But what Democrat hate has done to the country and the rule of law is almost incomprehensibly dangerous. All honest people must fight it." She's right about that. Yeah, and by the way, Trump can withstand this, right? Trump is somebody who's got money, resources, and 80 million Americans plus at his back. So he can withstand that. But what about other people who cannot? And so what Trump is doing is he's acting as, I think, a symbol of a decrepit, corrupt system. And by him facing that, it's causing this reaction. We all get to see this fight on display. We all get to see it. If Trump wasn't here, we wouldn't see it. They would still be doing this type of crap with our senators and our other presidential candidates and our administrative agencies, all under the lock and key of a corrupt system that just prosecutes and threatens people unless they do what they want. So all honest people must indeed fight it. Our friend Scott Adams over there, also on Locals and YouTube, says, "I just donated to Trump. The donation page crashed from traffic." This is the hill to die on. From Scott Adams. Great question came in, says, "Can Trump talk now?" And I would say no. Don't think so, unless the judge undid that gag order. He's still on his same release conditions, so still on his own recognizance. So I don't think not from what I saw. I think all release conditions are still the same. He'll be sentenced, and then at sentencing, they can dictate at sentencing. But remember, part of the judge's gag order was based on the orderly administration of justice. Yes, witnesses were a part of it, but also prosecutors, investigators, like the judge's daughter. So like the judge is not going to lift the gag order while Trump can still comment on the judge's daughter until he's sentenced, and the sentence is probably served, honestly, until Trump's off probation. Maybe he'll say, I still have administrative control over the case. So he could have, I think he could maintain some semblance of control over Trump theoretically while he's on probation. So Scott Adams made a dono over to Trump. Says, this is the hill to die on. I think that's right. This is it. This is the Batman scene we keep talking about. It's the third act. It's when he goes in there, everything breaks. His car breaks, his airplane breaks, his woman left him, his mansion got burned down, Joker's, riding around on the motorcycle, whatever. And Batman gets his little grappling hook and some tweezers, and he goes and he's like saves the whole Gotham City. Like, this is it. It's all or nothing. It's the same thing we're taught in early revolutionary social studies class or history class when we study the American Revolution. It's like, why did the Americans beat the British back? Sorry to our UK friends. I know we're friends now, but you guys were kind of a pain in the butt during that time. But we had a situation where it was do or die for America, where we had home field advantage. We had a bunch of Americans who know this is it. If we don't win on this, we're done. So Trump is in this position, and I think his voters are now recognizing that. So it's an energy enthusiasm play. The reason why they allegedly won in 2020 by, I would say, standard turnout projections is because the turnout for Trump was suppressed due to COVID. Everything was mailed in, so they artificially inflated their enthusiasm on the left via mail-in balloting, and then they artificially suppressed the right turnout. This is going to reverse that massively. Shout out to Scott Adams. All right, we got David Sachs in the house, All In Podcast. You know those guys. After Biden's disastrous presidency, Trump has a lot of supporters in Silicon Valley. Uh-oh. Whoa! Shaun Maguire donated $300,000 to President Trump. That's a lot of super chats, man. Holy moly. Shaun Maguire said, I just donated $300,000 to President Trump. The timing isn't a coincidence. He said, wow, look at this one. Look at this guy. So Shaun Maguire's coming out. This is a symbol of people who are going to be activated as a result of this crap. Let's give him a little follow, shall we? He's a partner at Sequoia. He says, I just donated $300,000 to Trump. I'm prepared to lose friends. Good. Those friends you'll lose are losers. Get rid of them. Come join us. It's much better over here. We're healthy and we have fun. Back in 2016, I had drunk the media Kool-Aid. I was scared out of my mind about Trump. As such, I donated to Hillary and I voted for her. Oop. By 2020, I was disillusioned and didn't vote. Didn't like either option. Now in 2024, I believe this is one of the most important elections of my lifetime. And I'm supporting Trump. Let's go, baby! I know that I'll lose friends for this. Good. Those people are losers. Get rid of them. Some will refuse to do business with me. The media will probably demonize me. Well, they're on their way out too. They're less and less relevant by the day. Let's start our own media company. Start a YouTube channel. As they have so many others before me, but despite this, I still believe it's the right thing to do. I refuse to live in a society where people are afraid to speak. Now, I want to start off with something provocative. I'm going to start, he says, I think it leads to a different take on the most controversial Trump issue, which is January 6th. He says, I believe this 2016 election was manipulated to hurt Hillary and to help Trump. Hillary believes this too. And it's the Guccifer thing, which was the hack that hacked her emails. All right, this is a longer post than I thought. Global instability and so on. Israel, double standard. Wow, this is a really long article. Lawfare. Okay, here we go. Too broad of a topic to go on to here. So, major article. All right, so I'll retweet this post if you want to read the full thing. I thought it was going to be a little shorter than that, but Best of luck to President Trump, he says. There's no greater country in the world than America, but America has had a bad decade. Yeah. America's blessed with a robust constitution, abundant natural resources, diverse people. The way out from here is by focusing on our strengths, which are liberalism, probably in the classical sense, and hard work. Neither party cares about liberalism anymore in the classical sense. We need to start building again. Yes, we should be a country of builders, not consumers. Best of luck to President Trump. Good comment. He'll take the 300 grand. Shout out. Now, what that came from was from David Sachs. He says, yeah, after Biden's disastrous presidency, Trump has a lot of supporters in Silicon Valley, but with each act of courage like this one, the dam begins to break. Christopher Rufo is responding. Let's see what he says. We all know who Christopher Rufo is. He retweeted that one, retweeting a couple of these things. Yeah, yep. So interesting stuff there. We had Julie Kelly reaction. Trump's website is still down. We'll poke over and we'll see what some of the other cables are reporting. And then we'll see what you guys have to say about all this. I see some amazing donos in the house. Very grateful to be here with you while we go through this insanity together. We got Turley's back on with Brett Baer. Trump still making his way out.
Could be vindicated. I
think we had that somewhere else.
What people have to understand, that you can disagree with this decision. I'm disappointed in it because many of us feel this was a legally flawed case and that it was political in its motivations by Alvin Bragg and others. But we are a nation committed to the rule of law. We have ways and people waiting to review.
We used to be. I appreciate that concept, but we haven't been a nation of laws since 2020 at all. They just changed everything due to COVID. Changed the elections. They changed your property rights. They changed your due process rights, extended statute of limitations. It's not been that way for quite some time. And quite frankly, SCOTUS and both parties have enabled that. So, all right, that's from Turley. Let's see if there are any other comments or reactions. Then we'll jump into your. Did we just get nuked? All right, I think we're back. Dang it. Are we back? I think we're back. We're back. Gosh, feds are clogging our tubes. So thus, as a practical matter, this verdict likely doesn't change anything, of course, legally. But we are talking about the court of public opinion, except there will be more legal maneuvering in this case and the others. So be angry at the disgusting spectacle of lawfare with which the libs are tarnishing our nation, but don't lose hope or faith in our great republic. But we need to double down again on demanding that our government operate by governing principles and norms, living them ourselves and creating consequences for those who don't. That's a good statement. Smart stuff. All right. Wow. Okay, so we just dropped. What happened here? All right, so the screen went black, but we're back in business, and my apologies for that. I don't know what that was all about. Viva dropped this one. Then we'll say hello to you, my friends. Viva says, exactly as predicted, the propagandist hacks just needed their convicted felon headline. Commies, that's what they are. Now let's see how quickly they try to get back to the Disgrace Act, which is, I think, the bill from Benny Johnson, right? That would say that if you're convicted of a felon, you can't serve as president. They would rather burn the country down to rule over the ashes than respect the rule of law. Yeah, it's good to see you, Viva, in the house, our friend. This is Clay Martin. He's a great author. I recommend his book called The Wrath of the Wendigo. Very good one. Clay Martin says there is in fact, it's probably a good one to read right now. There is a penalty for not crossing the Rubicon, and now he shall pay it. Wrath of Wendigo from Clay Martin. Tell him we said hello. I love his work. If you grab his books. We'd like to have him on, I think, on the Lodge for an interview. I'm going to try to connect with him at some point. Shipwreck Crew. Another example of the Dems making new rules that they will now need to live by from Shipwreck Crew. Matt Walsh says, hey, congratulations to Trump on winning the presidential election. And Eric Trump says, May 30th might be remembered as the day that Donald J. Trump won the 2024 presidential election. So good stuff out there, my friends. I think there is a lot of optimism. A lot of people are feeling that energy, feeling that, oh, they did it. We didn't think that they were going to do it, but they did it. And so now we know what we're playing with. Now we know what the game is. And there will be consequences. There will be repercussions for all of this. And it's just getting started. So let's see what you say, my friends. Some great comments. Really grateful and honored to be here with you. Thank you for deciding to join us as we covered this. We've been spending a lot of time here. Not the outcome that we wanted, but I think in the long run, we will be victorious. They don't even know what they've done here. That's how foolish they are. And if you doubt that, just look at the rest of their history record. Like, look at their accomplishments. Have they been successful on anything? Has anything gone well for them? Border, Afghanistan, Ukraine, Israel, economy, inflation, installing energy chargers for cars? Nothing. Planes are falling out of the sky. Doors falling off. They're incompetent. But this was their plan. This was a lawfare plan. And just like everything else they touch, it's going to turn to crap. And the people are going to, I think, respond in forces that they have not seen before. We wanted it to be too big to rig. Now we're getting there. So, all right, let's take a look at your comments. Glocky in the house shared this one over on Local, says, they tried overthrowing Trump's presidency twice using illegal means, sedition, and treason. They deplatform, they debank, they harass, they assault. In some cases, they eliminate his supporters. There's Trump. Again, the Okay, it's just a highlight reel. They use the full weight and the intelligence of the agencies and the feds to spy on you and to persecute you. They groom your kids. They spit on your religion and your history. And our forefathers went to war with the biggest empire at that time and won for freedom and for doing a lot less than what these fascists are doing. Not encouraging war or civil war or any civil unrest or any criminality, of course, at all. But you make a great point about that, Glocky. And I asked myself the same thing. We were watching Civil War, that new Civil War movie, which I thought was kind of tedious. And I thought to myself, what's going to cause Americans to get off their butts and shoot each other, like in a civil war? Anything? I don't think so. Because they locked us down and said your businesses are dead if you try to go work at them. And if people are on your property, you can't kick them out because it's their property now. And they spent an ungodly amount of money, which resulted in the thievery of our money through inflation. They gave everybody like $1,200 checks, and that was enough to satisfy everybody. No one cared. Everybody just watched Netflix and took 2 years off of work and then said, why am I unhappy now all of a sudden? Why is everything broken? Well, that's why. Surprise. All right, what's up, Glocky? Good to see you. Thanks for that, Dono. Let's see what else is coming in, my beautiful friends. We got some great ones. This one from Glocky says, appeal to heaven. Appeal to heaven. We've got Ducey's reporting. Let's see what he is saying.
Reaction coming from the counsel's office, and it falls way short of some of the reporting about what we might hear from the White House and officials calling President Trump officially convicted felon Donald Trump. Instead, the counsel's office spokesman is just saying, we respect the rule of law and have no additional comment right now. There is nothing official from President Biden, and you can count on one hand the amount of times that he has referenced this case over the last few months.
What?
He said at one point he knows Trump is free on Wednesdays, which is when court was out, and he has joked that Trump is busy. But the closest thing to Biden reaction is coming from the campaign in Wilmington and the communications director, who says, in part, Donald Trump has always mistakenly believed he would never face consequences for breaking the law for his own personal gain. But today's verdict does not change the fact that the American people face a simple reality. There is only one way to keep Donald Trump out of the Oval Office, at the ballot box. Convicted felon or not, Trump will be the Republican nominee for president. And this is going to have no difference in the way 67% of voters are going to approach November in a new NPR PBS Marist poll. 17% are saying a guilty verdict makes them more likely to back Trump.
See that down
15%
there?
say
minutes,
less likely. Speaker Mike Johnson is saying
all right, let's listen in to see if we can hear anything at the Donald Trump there. Hold on. Motorcade arriving there at Trump Tower, just gave the fist pump and walking in. He has had a number of Truth Social posts today, and we expect there'll be something more than we saw perhaps at the cameras right after he left the courtroom. Peter, we interrupted there. You were making the point that I made earlier about how many people this affects potentially in the election. Does the Biden campaign see that, or are they looking to capitalize, obviously, on this moment?
It seems like they do see it because they are still trailing in a lot of polls, and decided that yesterday, after weeks of a trial, was the day they had to finally go to New York and address all the cameras. I will point out, they said they only did that press conference in New York outside the trial because that's where all the cameras are. Well, next week, all the cameras are going to be right by Campaign HQ in Wilmington, Delaware for Hunter's gun trial. We don't expect to hear much from President Biden about that or this. He is not here at the White House. He and the rest of the First family are in Delaware right now. They are marking today, which is the 9th anniversary of Beau Biden's passing. So the first on-camera reaction, or at least the first chance at that, is going to be at some point tomorrow, either when the president is coming back or when he is hosting the Kansas City Chiefs for their Super Bowl presentation here at the White House, Brett.
All right, so
Peter, what is next physically for the president as far as the campaign trail? Do we have any?
All right, so he'll be back campaigning. He doesn't have to be in court anymore. That's over. So he'll be back in July for the sentencing. But this is what he has been posting. So we have some posts from Trump. He posted donaldjtrump.com. This is from the president. And I don't know what's happening right here. All right, so here's a message from the president. Let's pause the audio on this one so I can boost the volume on this one. We got two videos from the president, and let's see what they look like. So Trump just dropped these two items. He posted this on True Social 20 minutes ago, linking to donaldjtrump.com from the president.
Final battle. With you at my side, we will demolish the deep state. We will expel the warmongers from our government. We will drive out the globalists. We will cast out the communists, Marxists, and fascists. We will throw off the sick political class that hates our country. We will rout the fake news media, and we will liberate America from these villains once and for all.
$88,022. Trump, 88022 from the president. We will defeat the deep state. He says victory on November 5th. Save America. And he also posted this video. Here is what this one sounded like.
The top. We're reaching the top.
So that's, looks like it's a little mix of him doing the same thing. They're trying to hold him back. It's not working. There's another little entourage of Trump walking. Now, what I want to play for us here is a really great video that was released at the early part of the day. I was going to play this at the top of the show, and then we had breaking news. So that's from Trump. He's fighting for you. Text Trump to 88022. So that was that one. Now, let me also share with you this one, because there was a great video that came out from the Trump War Room. So this is good, my friends. So check this out. Trump War Room posted this one earlier today. And think about what we'll start seeing now after their little lawfare scam, a plan of attack, has in their minds been victorious. New ad from Trump.
Thank you for joining us here today. Earlier this afternoon, Donald Trump was arraigned by a Manhattan grand jury on 34 felony counts.
This case is an abomination. You know, it's obviously political. 7 years to try to come up with this case. They're just wrong on the law.
The only crime that Donald Trump is being prosecuted for is the crime of running for president.
Political persecution at the highest level.
They've quite frankly given up on trying to beat him at the polls. Either going to steal it or stop it by law firm.
A Democrat prosecutor elected on a Get Trump platform.
What's going on here is a disgusting disgrace. It is war on Trump, it is war on the Republican Party, and it is a war on the Republic.
This case is the weakest case I've seen in 60 years of teaching, practicing, and writing about criminal law.
And I doubt the New York indictment would have been brought against a defendant whose name was not Donald Trump.
This judge, I mean, you don't need a prosecutor if you have a judge like this. This judge is not on the level.
It's a terrible case, but the judge has been pretty much a rubber stamp on everything that Bragg has wanted to do.
They're perverting the system of justice. You know, that's where the danger lies. The corruption and subversion of our institutions by the left.
This is the Democrats' entire strategy, to confine President Trump to a dirty criminal courtroom and keep him off the campaign trail where he can bring his winning message to voters across this country.
New York has become a legal banana republic. They are so determined to get Donald Trump.
Look, convicting Donald Trump, that's all they have.
I think they have no cards, and they're depending upon Trump getting convicted.
That Trump train doesn't show any signs of slowing down.
The only verdict that matters is the verdict at the ballot box.
Let's go, right? Pretty well done. So coming November 5th, I think the ad is on the mark. It's all they have. This is why all their eggs are in this basket. This is why Joe Biden showed up, his campaign did, and they stood outside Manhattan to try to capitalize on this. And they also have these stupid shirts where they're selling these on their website. Free on Wednesdays. Free on Wednesdays. You can buy those for $32 or whatever they are, along with that shirt. Oh, gosh. Throwback Kamala crew neck. Look at this shirt. Look at the photo. It's look at the size of the photo. Why is the photo so small? Like, why would you get a shirt with a photo that's like the size of a business card? Is the photo just small or is the person just big? I don't know. What's going on over there? So Kamala Harris throwback, and they're also now trying to sell merch. So that's all they've got. They've got Trump merch. All right. Is the website working over there at donaldjtrump.com? I think it might be, which is good news. And is it working? It is. All right, so they've got it up. Breaking news. Trump 2024 political prisoner. Trump, I'm a political prisoner. I was just convicted in a rigged political witch hunt trial. Trump says, I did nothing wrong. They've raided my home, arrested me, took my mugshot, and now they've just convicted me. Crooked Joe Biden needs to get the message right here, right now, that his chances of a second term end today. But for that to happen, our immediate pushback must be so massive, it will go down in history. We must make Joe Biden regret ever coming after us. Before the day is over, I'm calling on 10 million pro-Trump patriots to chip in and say, I stand with President Trump. My end of month fundraising deadline is just days away. So at this dark hour, I am humbly asking you to please stand with me now. I know with you by my side, we will win back the White House and make America great again. Amazing. From Donald J. Trump. Make America great again. Look at all these donos coming in. And you can see Don P just sent one, 2107. I saw we just had one come in from one of our friends over here. So shout out to the dono that just came in. Where did that one just go? I just saw it pop up here. I just saw, where'd it go? Someone donated 2024, $20.24. I just saw it. And for whatever reason, it's not working. All right. So you can make your donation. The website is up. Your contribution goes over there. And hopefully the numbers are just resounding. That will be a lot of fun. So, all right, my friends, let's see what else you guys say about this. Great comments. Getting to it says, call me crazy, but I predict that Biden will pardon Trump. Biden will pardon Trump, huh? Oh, here's a Democratic strategist. Let's see what she says. This is...
Party. I mean, this was brought by the state. One, I'm kind of surprised at the verdict. I didn't think it was going to be guilty on all 34 counts. Two, the reason I don't think this is politically motivated, Brett, and I said it before and I'll say it again, is because I would agree with you that this helps Donald Trump. It helps check writing and money coming into his campaign.
Yeah, website came
It helps with people who weren't going to support him to say, I'm 100% all in now. The latest poll on those numbers is NPR PBS, and it really finds, though, guilty or not, it doesn't really make a huge difference. I think, if anything, it could hurt the former president just a little bit, because he's going to be campaigning on the woe is me platform, and I'm just not sure how much steam that has if Joe Biden is talking about
It's not woe is me. It's not woe is me. The guy's a victim of political prosecutions that we've never seen before in this country. It's not like, well, you know, he got a parking ticket like everybody else gets parking tickets. This is a weaponized attack. They're making up crimes to take him out, just like they tried to do in 2016. So getting to it says maybe Biden will pardon Trump. I could see something like that. He could think that he's resembling Gerald Ford or something, who pardoned Nixon. For the good of our country, we just need to move on and move past this, whatever. I don't think they'll do that, okay? The Democrats, they've been working too hard for this. Hey, what's up, Cynthia? Cynthia, what a nice dono. Very generous of you today. Thank you, Cynthia. Says, thank you, Robert. You rock. I think you rock, Cynthia, for supporting us so nicely and for being here and joining us. It is a historic day. Not a good one, but we went through it together. And as I said, I think this is the beginning of their end. They're sowing the seeds of their own destruction here. T. Lewis says, I'm so nervous right now, I can't breathe. I know. I felt it too. As soon as I heard that there was a note from the jury that they had a verdict, I'm like, oh, gosh, you feel that heart go. D. London, I'm simultaneously furious and overjoyed. I'm furious that our justice system could be this corrupt, but I'm overjoyed that Trump will be reelected. Yeah, I think this really creates a bunch of energy where it's needed, and it's going to be well served. And I think this will carry a lot of it into the election. This is not going to be over anytime soon. Daniel Henry says the judiciary has just convicted itself. Yoda drops his cane and clutches his chest. Yoda. When his heart gets broken. Which one was that from? I remember the scene, but I don't remember the context. What's up, Daniel Henry? Yeah, the judiciary. And a bunch of lefties are just thrilled about it. They're just happy as can be. AO 1968 says this is the opening of a conflict. The opening act of a conflict. Man, I hope not. I've been reading and studying a lot more of the Civil War and thinking about what environment caused Americans to wage war, right? It was, I mean, things were pretty precarious at that point, and it was economic survival. It was property rights. It was liberty rights. There was a lot going on in addition to slavery and human rights and morality and all the things, but there were multiple layers to it. So yeah, it was very complicated. Are we going to get there right now? I think most of the countries pretty much dumbed down with their sports and OnlyFans and Netflix and not that interested in the downfall of America. What's up? T. Lewis says Melania's picking out new drapes. This put him right smack dab into the White House. Good to see you, T. Lewis. JC's here, says this is the definition of government tyranny. Yeah, when you have no real due process, you just have a fake show trial. They go through the motions and convict you. That's what we saw. Thank you for that, JC. This old guy, Nice Dono on Local, says, New York is an absolute pit. This is exactly who I thought the result would be. Merchan is an a-hole who had his finger on the scales from the start. Alvin Bragg is a low-life marshmallow man who has just assured the election of Donald J. Trump and the indictment of Joe Biden, even though he is an elderly man with a poor memory, and he deserves it. Yeah, I'm totally in favor of the Republicans coming in and just cleaning house aggressively, totally. And I don't think I would have always been that way. Like in 2016, after Trump won, if you're like, Rob, he should just use the DOJ and just go take out Hillary and all these people, I would have been like, no, come on, we're not that country. I wouldn't know. Even when he was saying it during the campaign, he's like, you should be in jail. Remember that one? I'm like, all right, that's, campaign bravado. He's never going to do it because it would wreck the country. And Trump's not a maniac. They're the maniacs. He didn't do it. Maybe he should have, but he didn't. But now they broke the seal, so when he wins, yes, they should clean house. And I won't be happy that we have devolved to that, but I'd rather our side take control and clean house than their side. And that's where we're at right now. And no, I don't trust the New York Court of Appeals or the New York Supreme Court to right these wrongs. Yeah, and he does deserve it. What's up? DeBronx is here. Says they will hold him in New York for the sentencing. Then the sentencing will be 40 years in home confinement, even an ankle bracelet. It would be amazing if they did something like that. But you could see, well, how about just 6 months between now and the election? Oh, you're home confined. Yeah, we'll let you go to Mar-a-Lago, sure. Or we'll let you go. You can go to your residence, your multiple residence, but you can't leave them. I mean, it's home confinement, obviously. So 6 months, put you right now, from now until the election. Okay. Allegan News says overturning is not that simple, and it will take years. Yeah, and it's irrelevant, really. You just need, if you advance from the win, they just needed to win to advance. And then if they get an asterisk later on down the line, they don't care. They've already got what they wanted. Hey, Philip James says, time to shut down New York City. It might self-shut down. I think people will probably be leaving. And this is another indicator of why you should leave. Because if you have a false business record, you could have some partisan hack prosecutor just create criminal charges against you to take you out. Jeff Pearson asks, do the no-knocks begin tonight? Is there an anti-deep state purge going on? Yeah, so it'll be like that scene from V for Vendetta where they just come in, take you out of your house. No-knock raids. When you're in the media or something like that. You condemn the deep state, they come take you out. What's up, Jeff? Maynor's here. 1 year, Maynor, 1 year as a membo. Good to see you. Happy anniversary to us. They had no proof with E. Jean Carroll either. Right, and Judge Kaplan allowed that to go through. Another case from 20, 30 years ago from a demented woman who has no corroborating evidence, but the New York jurors hate the dude. We got Tom. What's up, Tom? Hey, says, sad day, but thank you for your excellent coverage and hard work. Thanks, Tom. I know it's a tough day, man, and I wish I had something more profound and wise to say on a historic day like this, but it just it's just sad. It just sucks. Sometimes you just have bad days. They just suck. That's all you can say. And that's where we're at. We shed a tear for our justice system, but wake up with new resolve about what environment we're living in. And it's a hard reality for us to wake up in, especially those of us who care about, like, if you don't care about the legal system, it's like, whatever, Trump got convicted, who cares? But I think the reason why we're here, the reason why we spend so much time on this stuff is because justice is like the skeleton of a society. You can't really have much of anything else if you don't have justice. What else are you going to have? How can you have policies if there's no justice? What do you have? You have totalitarianism. It's justice for the people who are in charge, not anyone else, which means there is no justice. So what's up, Tom? Great comment. Thanks for being here, man. Thanks for the dono. Charles G says, as usual, the Democrats make the first move and then cry about the consequences, like the 51 vote rule for approving judges. When Trump wins the election, what do they think is going to happen? Well, I think that they're a little nervous about it. We've heard guys like Comey and others come out and say, if Trump wins, it's the end of democracy. What do they mean by that? They mean it's the end of their corruption of democracy. So it's the end of their institutions that are they're not democratic. So that's what they're concerned about. I think they're a little nervous. They should be, because there should be repercussions coming. And I hope Trump understands this game. Hopefully he realizes, because I have my doubts that he does, honestly. What's up? Knox says, I feel like puking. All counts. Yeah, I know. Knox is a defense attorney in Texas. Not a good day. Hey, what's up? Hugh Hewitt's on. He is a radio host. Let's see what he says.
It's very disgusting to see people celebrating this. And I noted Senator Rubio's comment about being on set on CNN. Very difficult to measure how people who are not typically connected to the political arena get motivated. But people who don't like the government generally, who don't believe in the government working efficiently, and who followed at all the pursuit, the dogged, relentless pursuit of Donald Trump from 2015 forward, I think their disgust is going to be very immense and will move the polls in favor of Donald Trump. We might not see it for a while. We'll hear about it at the June 27th debate. We'll hear about it at the convention. But this judge did the country a dirty deed. And I believe, I'm not blaming the jury. Those instructions were almost impossible to follow for a lawyer. I'm just thinking the disgust with the political system will rebound to the benefit of Donald Trump, and pretty quickly.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think that's right. And again, when we read those jury instructions, we also, I mean, come on, the jurors, what are they going to do? They just say, the judge said this literally, like, we can do this. Okay, I guess if that's the law, I have to follow the law. So, Knox, you're right. It is a vomitorious day today. T. Lewis says, now the Democrats are going to attempt to pass legislation to prevent Trump from being on the ballot. I don't think they'll get that through the conservative House, maybe. Some states will follow suit, and then the RNC will reconsider a new candidate. This is so stupid. Yeah, we've been gaming that out for a long time here. They just need the conviction so the RNC can have a meltdown. What's up? Troublemaker Davey says, this is like Sunday Ticket of Court TV. On all the reaction, all the news, all breaking. It's been wild. Thanks for joining us here today. Troublemaker Davey in the house. Rosie's on Locals says, watchers, God has carried our Trump for this long. Watch God's plan. This may seem crushing, like the cross that crushed Jesus when he fell, but God will send Trump a Simeon. Trust us. Trust US. Good to see you, Rosie Posey. Great comment. Yeah, I think that they're making him a martyr, and there will be a resurrection. What's up, Blair? Says, we want to know who the jurors are. Well, we don't get to know who they are, but if they want to reveal themselves, they certainly can. The judge has freed them to talk to us, so we'll see if they do that. Chubby says, they rushed this trial so much, but I bet the appeal will be pushed back until after November. Of course, yeah. We will not get a reversal on any of this before then. Justice or some other BS excuse they'll make. 100%. It will be slow. There will not be a reversal before the election. You can almost bet on it. Hey, what's up? 51K says, Rob, can you please move your picture-in-picture to cover the guilty? I can't stomach looking at that. Yeah. Where is it? Right here. Can I move it over there? It's still in the middle. All right. So Bragg's coming out apparently any minute now to address the charges. We'll jump into that when he comes out. General K says, remember, it looked hopeless at Valley Forge and the Alamo and the Battle of the Bulge. You're an American. You double down. You don't tuck tail when it's tough. I think that's right. And I think a lot of people who are not otherwise engaged actually get engaged. They go, okay, fine. It's time to get involved. I mean, I know that's what COVID did. For me personally, that's my story. COVID happened. I was a political person, but not outwardly political. Decided, okay, well, the people I was relying on to do something about all this are failing badly. So we have to speak. And I think more people will feel that. More people, okay, fine, all right, look, I got to get off the sidelines now. I got to do something about this. So we'll see. So they're moving some cameras around. That's outside Trump Tower, but Bragg is apparently going to be speaking any minute. Some people are standing up there. They have a little picture-in-picture down there in the bottom right, if you're wondering what I'm looking at. So we're waiting for that to get underway. General Kale, good to see you. Thanks for that reassuring comment. Axel says, Patriots, we knew this was going to happen. Yeah. Stay strong. Focus on his reelection. The only way we get justice is by electing Trump in November. Yeah, exactly right. Exactly right. This is not something that should be deflating to anybody. Remember, a big part of this criminal prosecution scandal attempt, lawfare attack, is to try to deflate and de-energize and suppress the turnout for the right. So we cannot let that happen. Right? Everybody should engage even harder. Oh, yeah? Now I'm going to vote even harder. Democrats, they just vote twice, you know. So here's corrections. Welcome as a new supporter. Corrections in the House. MAGA Kitten says, your commentary on the situation is delightful. I'm so bummed. Thank you for your positive and refreshing views on this historic and insane verdict. Well, thank you for saying that, MAGA Kitten. Yeah, it's revealing. It's revelatory. We get to see who these people are. And we wouldn't be able to do that without this happening. And honestly, Trump is the vessel. He's the vehicle. It's causing all of these people to come out of the woodwork. And there's a lot of activity down there, but they're moving some signs around. Bragg's going to come out and declare victory. Rob says, Democrats, are you voting for a convicted felon? Republicans say, are you voting for an unindicted child showerer who's an old man with a poor memory who might get you blown up in World War III? Yeah, they're like, well, he's not Trump, though. Hey, E. Harris is checking out for a few days. I encourage it. Says, I can't do more of this issue. I'm out for a few days. I'm furious. Totally understand that. I can totally understand checking out. Tomorrow the schedule is going to be, I think the plan will be an early morning stream because I've got a full day of an event tomorrow. So we'll do an early morning stream, 10 a.m. Eastern time, 7 Pacific, I think. It'll be that early. We'll have a couple headlines, a couple of segments that we didn't get to today. We'll talk about the Florida case, and the Supreme Court probably. So we'll shift gears a little bit, but of course we'll also follow this story if there's any more updates tomorrow. But E. Harris, be well, my friend. We'll see you when you get back. CJ, sending love from Australia. Shout out to our friends in Australia. Good to see you guys. Thanks for watching, tuning in. What do you guys think about this ridiculousness? Yvonne says, is the gag order now dismissed? No, not unless the judge says something, and I didn't see anything like that today. The gag order is much broader than just the witnesses. It's also the judge's daughter. The judge is going to be sentencing, so he doesn't want his daughter to be criticized while he's being sentenced or in the process of the sentencing. So, no, I think the gag order will still be in effect unless we see something differently. JC says, when red is being attacked, or it's a historic amount of Trump donos. It's back up now, so who knows what happened, but it's back up. Money probably flooding in. Hey, what's up, Cher? Nice dono, Cher. Thank you for this. Says, hey, thank you, Robert. You've been so good presenting these trial proceedings. Is it true? Can we still vote for President Trump with a felony against him? I am voting Trump. Oh, yeah, Cher. Yeah, that is 100% true. You can go vote for him, and he can become the president. He could be the president from jail, theoretically. So vote hard, vote aggressively. That Sharpie, make sure it bleeds all the way through that paper. And make sure everybody that you've ever known or met or loved or talked to or is in your index also goes and votes for Trump. It's a good way to do it. So sentencing is going to be in July. July 11th, I believe, was the day. And I should have written that down. But they're getting ready to have Alvin Bragg come out. We'll see what he says in a bit. Hey, it's Beth Coddington in the house, farmer's daughter. Beth, thanks for stopping by, for being an amazing membo, and for the generous dono. Says, hi, sweetums. Hello, chat. This makes me physically sick. I know. Even more to know, people I love support this. Yeah. I still love them, but I can never look at them the same way again. So sad. Yeah, I know, Beth. I'm sorry. I know what you mean. I basically don't have that in my life anymore. All those people are gone now. Yeah, I know. But it's a sad thing. I remember that. I remember going through that. Having to recognize that other people are so blinded by their hate that they'll wreck their own justice system. It's like, you live in this justice system. Hello. Do you understand what you're doing? Do you understand what this glee is going to lead to for your children and your grandkids? No. Trump's a monster. He breaks the law. It's the same hystericism that you've heard from these people when it comes to COVID, or when it comes to Ukraine and Russia, or when it comes to misinformation. They just make up hysterical stuff like children and cry about it. And they never look at the consequences because they're so consumed by fear or anger or grief or something that it doesn't register logically for them. And I feel bad for a lot of these people because their brains have been commandeered by other people. In this case, the government and the Democratic Party. Good to see you, Farmer's daughter, Beth Coddington, in the house. Sorry to hear about that. Sad state of affairs. But we move on. We persist. We've got this from Electrics. Shocking, this case was the weakest out of all of them, which is why they leapfrogged it. Remember, it wasn't even on the schedule for a while. It wasn't even on the schedule for a while. Then they accelerated it because the other cases were not taking place. We've got HPG says, so since the charges stem from activities in 2017 of the Supreme Court confers immunity, does that nullify this verdict? I would say, I would say yes, that Trump could make the argument that yes. Here comes Bragg.
At the same time that Hunter Biden is heading into his first federal trial next week on gun charges.
Shannon,
he's got that
interrupt.
to deal with. He could, too, possibly become a convicted felon. Brett.
Thank you, Shannon. Manhattan District Attorney Alvin Bragg reacting to the guilty verdict of the former president of the United States.
There's Colangelo. Look at him. New photos from him. We haven't seen him in a long time. All these prosecutors, many of whom look like prosecutors. Where's Susan at? Where's Susan Hoffinger? Where are you at?
Good evening. First and foremost, I want to thank the jury for its service. Jurors perform a fundamental civic duty. Their service is literally the cornerstone of our judicial system. We should all be thankful for the careful attention that this jury paid to the evidence and the law and their time and commitment over these past several weeks. 12 everyday New Yorkers, and of course our alternates, heard testimony from 22 witnesses, including former and current employees of the defendant, media executives, book publishers, custodians of records, and others. They reviewed call logs, text messages, and emails. They heard recordings. They saw checks and invoices, bank statements, and calendar appointments. This type of white-collar prosecution is core to what we do at the Manhattan District Attorney's Office.
You investigate decades-old cases
in the
of your political opponents?
1930s, District Attorney Thomas Dewey ushered in the era of the modern, independent professional prosecutor.
Oh, my gosh.
For now nearly 90 years, dedicated professionals in this office have built upon that fine tradition. A major part of our practice during that nearly 90 years has been public integrity work, including cases involving jurists, local and state electeds, public servants, and others. I want to thank this phenomenal prosecution team.
Where's Susan? That's Colangelo, Biden's DOJ.
The
right there.
finest
That's Biden's
traditions
guy.
of this office: professionalism, integrity, dedication, and service. They are model public servants, and I am proud and humbled to serve side by side with them. The 12 everyday jurors vowed.
Whatever. All right. So that's him. We'll see what else he has to say. So this charges, I would say, in this case, if SCOTUS comes out and grants immunity, I would say that Trump would have a claim on bringing this back up because he's already made that in his record. He's already said that this case should have been stayed pending the SCOTUS decision. Judge Mercant said no. So that is a record now that he has lobbed in there. And that, I wanted to see, can we get closed captions on this? Maybe not. Let's see. Yes, we can. All right. So I would say yes. He's already said that this is something that would be covered by immunity. And if SCOTUS agrees, I'd say he could recreate that, reinstitute that. Eddie Block Films. You remember Eddie Block. It's been some time. Eddie, what's up? Eddie testified in the Proud Boys trial with his real good boy, Donnie. Says, this is just going to help President Trump win the election. Good boy Donnie and I can't wait to meet you and all our friends in Vegas. Donnie's coming to Vegas, baby. Woo! Donnie's a real good boy, by the way. And you remember him. Giant. Well, he's a St. Bernard, right? Gosh, real good boy. We're going to see Eddie Block and Donnie in Vegas. It's going to be great. What's up? Rob's in the house. Says, here's some questions.
Donald Trump's multiple violations of the gag order that was in place should factor into that request at all?
The judge scheduled a sentencing for July 11th. We will speak in court in that time. He also set a motion schedule. We will speak in our court filings as we've done throughout this proceeding.
Donald Trump has repeatedly targeted you personally and members of your prosecution team.
You're under attack. Oh, gosh, the media. Hey, W. Groy says, it's time to thank you, Robert, and to contribute. Oh, well, thank you for saying that. And to contribute to Trump 2024. That's the better one. W. Groy, thanks for that. Thanks for the dono on Rumble.
How do you think of all that now, seeing the results of that? Can you kind of put that in context with your personal history?
I did my job. Our job is to follow the facts and the law without fear or favor. And that's exactly what we did here. And what I feel is just gratitude to work alongside phenomenal public servants who do that each and every day in matters that you all write about.
Stacey Champion, his donation page isn't working. It's back up, Stacey. I think the overwhelming force of MAGA brought it down. Thank you for the dono, Stacey. We got Chubby Stubby says, I respect Turley, but our rule of law standing has been brutally eviscerated by the Biden administration. Can anything be salvaged? Depends on whether this travesty of justice gets reversed on appeal as quickly as this sham trial was executed. If they blatantly drag out the appeal process, there'll be no hope for our legal system. It'll require complete rebuilding from the bottom up. Beth Coddington's in the house, says De Niro probably thinks it was his diatribe that sealed Trump's fate, LOL. He's out there, he's like, I did it, we did it. He goes back and he talks with the lying cops and says that we did it, guys.
At the beginning of my remarks, we have a phenomenal system. 12 everyday.
Get out of here. All right. So Chiro Knight says, can the Trump team request an expedited hearing to the appellate court? Yes, when it comes time to appeal, but I don't think that they're in a real big hurry. They asked for a pretty far out sentencing. Actually, not that far, about 40 days. So they asked for July sentencing. They got the July sentencing. And then he'll sentence them, and then they'll file their appeal. So they're preparing all of that right now, no doubt. Penny Whitbrot says, hey, Rob, Nurse Penny here. Penny is Nurse Penny on Rumble, has a great channel over there. Rob, can you explain the process for appealing to us? Also, do President Trump's attorneys have to wait for sentencing to begin that appellate process? Yeah, well, so yes, to formally file a notice of appeal, the case needs to have some sort of, because you're appealing the judgment and the sentence. So the judgment is, the conviction is, and the sentence. So you appeal both those things. They're marking their record down on appeal right now. So for example, today, even in court today, the defense team flagged for the judge and said, we move for a judgment of acquittal. Judge said no. Okay, great. So when we go to the appellate court, we're going to say you should have granted yes on that. Here's why. So they're laying the foundations for the appeals, and then they'll wait for the judgment and the sentencing. Then there'll be a formal notice of an appeal. And I can't speak to the details of how New York works because everything apparently is a kangaroo there. But the way that it generally works is you notify the Court of Appeals that you're appealing. Then they accept the appeal. Then you write your appellate memo, which is the big fat brief. So it's a small notice, then a big fat brief. Notice we're appealing. Then you get the transcripts, the records, all the things. Then you file your big fat appeal. So yeah, I'm sure they might expedite it. But I don't think the court will return anything before the end of the year. I just have my doubts, especially the Court of Appeals in New York. So they might have to go to the Supreme Court, in that case, the Court of Appeals in New York. But we'll be covering it, obviously, Penny. Thanks for being here. My friends, check out Penny's channel. She does good work, Nurse Penny. Gopher Big Guy says, win red and the Trump website just crashed, baby. Money, it is raining donations. Good, make it rain. Hopefully that lasts for about 5 months or so from now. Eddie Block says, I will have Donnie the Service Dog stickers for all those at the Vegas meetup next month. Plus, you all get to meet good boy Donnie. That's just going to be great. So Eddie Block Films, service dog stickers. So Donnie can come into the conference room with us. Does he want to speak?
Trump is elected president.
You went to the Supreme Court twice?
District Attorney Alvin Bragg.
All right, so stupid statement from them coming out. Did they bring out Susan? I think we just saw Susan Hoffinger run out. All those people, well done, brought out to take out Trump. So Donnie's going to be there. We're going to have some service dog stickers. It's going to be awesome. We're going to meet Donnie in Vegas. It's going to be great. Thanks, Eddie. We got Mexican Marauder says, I pray that this will not stand. I don't think it will, but again, the end game is not about the end game. The end game is about the election. That's all. They don't care if it comes back down on appeal. Glocky's here sharing this one. This one came out from Sean Davis about Frederick Douglass, which is a good comment. So make sure you're following Sean Davis. Liberum says, today, more than ever, all true Americans will vote for President Trump. Democrats are not a party, but a mediocre imitation of a Soviet regime. They're getting better every year. Yeah, I mean, last year we didn't have a bunch of show trials. We have 4 of them this year. Hey, Charles says, how do we file a FOIA request for the jury forum to see how they reach the decision? Is it not out? I wonder if it will be out. I would imagine they'll publish that. It's just guilty across the board. So it's all guilties. Now, I don't know how the form was rendered or what they selected, but I think they would just have the 5 elements times 34. They don't even need to get into what subcomponent of the crime they thought was the means for the crime. In other words, they don't have to tell us whether it was the FECA or the New York election law or the New York tax code. It's just whatever they want. Michelle P. says, Rob, do you think this abuse of the judicial system will have a greater effect on the Supreme Court immunity case ruling? That's a great question. In other words, would SCOTUS look at this and expand immunity to maybe protect Trump from this type of prosecution? I honestly don't think so. I think SCOTUS is not even thinking about these cases on a case-by-case basis. They're thinking about long-term judicial policy. So, but maybe this is more indication that there are politicized, weaponized prosecutions against political opponents, and they want a more robust immunity. I could totally see it. Lenny Malley says, smash that like button, and please, God bless you all. God bless you back, Lenny. Thanks for that one. Rob says, Shower Joe, gross. Fairboars says, did Trump just get 6 felony convictions for the money that Cohen stole from him? Trump probably should get indicted again for allowing Cohen to steal from him. Negligent operation of a business. You let someone in your business steal $60,000 from you. Straight to jail. Chubby says, I'm waiting for the Time article about how Mercan didn't rig this trial, but instead fortified it. Yeah, Lauren Mercan and Judge Mercan comes out with their new book, How I Rigged It. If I Rigged It, from Judge Mercan. Beth Coddington says, imagine if he'd been acquitted. The cities would already be burning down. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if that's true. Would they? Maybe you're right. Who knows? It feels like a lot of people don't care about it. Like the left is very happy about it. It's obviously a big day, but from the polls, a lot of, whatever. Maybe they had something instigated as well. Who knows? What's up, Glocky says, it begins. Guest post by Joe Hoft. Another one from Donut clipping for us today. Charlene G's coming in as a new member, new supporter on the YouTubes. Great to see you, Charlene. Mini Wheat says, I have already decapitated my stress doll listening to such a charade here. Who's going to stop this banana republic of our government? Is Congress going to put out a few more sternly worded letters? Will anyone ever be held accountable for all the BS Biden's administration has dished out these past few years? It just seems like the right is all talk and very little action. All I can say is that this is a very dark time in America. This one came out from Glocky. Says, may I recommend an awesome book, and I wish you nothing but the best in the upcoming conflicts. Here's one. Guerrilla Warfare and Special Forces Operations. Rob says, is Trump still gagged now? I believe the answer is yes, unless there was something else that we missed. But all his release conditions should stay in place pending sentencing and probably through the serving of the sentence. John B., what's up? New dono in the house. No comment, but thank you, John. Thanks for supporting us on the day. Grateful for that contribution. We've also got Bad Poet says, I've tried to donate to Trump on 5 different links. All of them are overloaded. I think Trump has huge support, or maybe the CIA is hacking them. I saw someone noted Mercan's daughter had clients in courtroom seats. And we saw that from Laura Loomer, who says that she maybe made a connection there. Scary stuff. Michael B., what's up, Michael B., says, it is better that Trump was found guilty on all 34 counts than 1 or 2 charges. Highlights the absurdity of the trial and the jury. Yeah, I think that's right. I think that's right. It confirms our suspicions. If the jury was split it, right? If they found him guilty on only the ones he signed, but not the ones that maybe the others signed, you'd say, well, okay, maybe they did analyze some facts or something, and maybe they came to some conclusion. But no, they just, Mike, they just believe Cohen and Stormy, and they just found him guilty on all counts. So it's as politicized and rigged as we all thought. Good to see you, Michael. Great comment. Knox says, Hunter, whose trial starts on Monday, and whose our friend Garrett Ziegler will be there, which is going to be awesome, says that Hunter will be found not guilty. And then all the Democrats will say, see, no one is above the law. And if you vote for this in November, you get what you deserve, says Knox. The rest of us need to get out of our cities and grow our own food. I'm with you, man. We've been talking about that. Knox has been with us over at the lodge. We got little seedlings growing over here. We are trying to grow our own food. My vertical garden's now in town. Going to set that up. It's going to be great. That's right. I think that's right. Redeemed Patriot says, Trump said things are getting ready to pick up and not be so boring. They're picking up right now for sure. There is a new energy that has been unleashed. I'm sure you feel it. Raider Gaines says, Civil War is the #1 movie on Prime right now. My guess, not by coincidence. What happens when a country no longer believes in the legal system? Well, what I think happens is you have increasing injustices. And then those increasing injustices start to compound. Like right now, it's people are getting their cars stolen or their houses broken into. And these are little petty things, kind of. I mean, they're a big deal. Like somebody breaks into your house, that's a big deal. You don't want that to happen. But they're little kind of annoyances, and we have insurance to fix it, and the cops are still mostly responsive and stuff like that. But eventually that will all go away. And then you'll have justice being dealt with at a different level because people will not engage with the system that they don't believe in. And when the government doesn't have any capacity to actually do enforcement, there's different things between, you could be legally wrong or legally in violation of something, but you have to have enforceability in conjunction with the law. Otherwise, there's no real mechanism by which to hold people to the law. You have to have some level of enforceability. And so as our government loses capacity, as cops flee, as everybody's a racist, and there'll be a slow attrition of the system, and there will be an atrophy of justice, and then people will start to snap and break when they are the victims of that injustice. What's up? Philip C. says, if the House passes any funding bill now, they're less than worthless. That's true. They probably will. So we're not going to hold our breath on that. They love to spend money as long as it's not theirs. What's up? Tara R. says, May 30th, a jury of corrupt, disgraced former lawyers and a horse-faced porn star and peers convicted a president who will still save our country for them too. Good to see you, Tara. Yep, they all did it, and they're all very happy about it. We got this old guy says, first, fire Joe in November. The normal procedure for the DOJ prosecutors is that their jobs end with the new administration and they are rehired by the new president. I think all of them should be getting their resumes freshed up this January. This is from Joseph Dowlern. Says, FJB, 80 plus million people are all ready to vote for this felon. I've already been asked to justify my vote. I will once they justify this case and the corruption in New York lawfare case. From Joseph D. in the House. Great one, Joseph. 80 million people. You're right about that. And I think more coming. 80 million and counting. Says, this one from Milo Phone Bill says, will we see riots like they had in 1982 after the Rodney King trial? Probably not. Because they got their way. They only riot when they don't get their way. Jennifer says, I'm so angry, Rob, so frustrated. My flag is turned upside down. I hear you, Jennifer. I'd encourage you to have a little bit of anger's fine. We can feel it. Frustration's fine. Feel it. Emotions repressed are emotions amplified. So we don't want that. But we also remember that we're in the third act, and this is going to be the greatest story ever told in modern American history. It's going to be epic. So hang tight. What's up? We got this one. Pasobic is saying the website crashed. Thanks, Lucky, for flagging that. Rosie Posey says, Mark Levin mentioned getting the filing ready for the emergency Supreme Court to hear this, and they better take it ASAP. This is monumental. This might be the Simeon Trump needs. From Rosie Posey. We got this one from Richard. Says, can Trump talk now? No, I think he can talk, but I think he's still bound by the gag order. Good to see you, Richard. Robert R. says, Trump is like the Hydra. Lose one head off, two more appear. They just made him stronger. Hey, what's up? Knox Bierman says, Miss Sophia is in the house. We got Miss Sophia, who could use some good watcher prayers right now, my friends. Little Miss Sophia is growing hard, growing fast, and could use some love. She's tucked away in there under the good care and stewardship of our friends in the hospital. And Knox and the Knox household are keeping a close, watchful eye. We're sending good love, good prayer, healing energy to Miss Sophia at the Knox Bierman household. Sent. What's up? Thanks for the update, Knox. Guy Vermectin is here. Did they gag Trump's kids or we the people? No, we can speak. Yeah, we can talk about all this. It's just Trump can't. And he can't retweet other people who've said those things. We got Spud says, I have a feeling that Uncle Scott Lobato is whipping up another masterpiece as we speak. Milo says, I wanted to make a donation, but this site was down too. Man, they got blasted today. So they're back in business now. Good news. Thank you, Milo. Daniel Henry says, Honey Badger is monitoring, and it's a tracking utility used by developers. In this case, by whomever made Trump's site. It's its own cloud hosting arrangement independent of Trump's site. Trump's donation traffic is impacting general web infrastructure. Yeah, it's not like, I didn't know that. It sounds like Cloudflare. So it sounds like kind of a competitor to Cloudflare. I'm very familiar with what Cloudflare is. So yeah, it's not like Trump had a Hillary Clinton email server and the website went down. No, it's like a major infrastructure that went down. A lot of people said, okay, that's it. We've had enough. Turkestan says, I'm from Finland, and even our kangaroo courts don't attack our rights this hard as this judge. He's so corrupt. Never seen such a biased judge. It's global now. It's global. Judge Mercan is a global joke. Thanks for filling us in on that, Finland. Jigam says, Trump's new ad, if you already played this, I missed it. If not, please play it again. We did play it. It was quite good. Yeah, quite good. Jigam is also sharing this one, something to lift the spirits. So, of course, our locals friends are taking a look at that one. Sandy shared this one from Lee Zeldin. He says, just secured an $800,000 donation from someone for President Trump's joint fundraising committee. Never experienced a massive ask that easy. Money's just flowing in. Glocky says that Michael Rappaport is saying, I'm predicting that Trump will win the election in 2024 and just bet money on it. Eric D says, buy Trump media. DJT, get your stock and coins. What's up? Charles G says, let's take all this and apply it to the suppression of Hunter's laptop, says Charles. The millions of dollars spent suppressing that story, that is going to be the most amazing counterpunch ever. Yeah, now it's out. And now Hunter is going to be on trial starting on Monday. We'll be talking about that one too, no doubt. Rob says, is his site down because of so many donors, or are Democrats trying to stop the donations? An Evening with Uncle Ray says $1,000 says that the remand Trump to custody, they remand him to custody before the debate. It's the only reason they were okay to debate. For example, they knew the verdict and they knew that Biden would never have to debate him because he'll be locked down or he'll be in custody or something. Would be crazy if they go that far. Voice of the People says, what does the Constitution say about altering or abolishing a tyrannical government? The Constitution or maybe the Declaration? Yeah, well, we don't like them in American governance. We don't like tyrannical governments. S.A. Grave says we all need to stay strong, stay together, and make noise. Our voice is our most powerful thing. We can talk, we can educate other people, we can awaken them to get engaged so they know what's happening. I have a strong belief if we had 10% of the football bros and 10% of the Kardashian babes who cared about their futures, just peeled them off and say, stop paying attention to Kim Kardashian for about 10 freaking minutes. And hey, turn off the football game for 10 minutes. Your country is dying in front of you. Wake up. You could educate them and bring them into the fold, and maybe they would have something that they're passionate about that's not something so meaningless like those stupid distractions. And I agree, make some noise. Talk to your friends. Wake some people up. Daniel H. And if they think you're annoying and stupid, whatever. You don't want to be friends with them anyways. Daniel Henry says the Disgrace Act would withdraw Secret Service protection from anyone convicted of a felony. We read that here. I think Benny Thompson was the one who drafted that. Ginger Ninja says, this is democracy in action. Yeah, I thought we the people cast our ballot for elections, not 12 jurors. These people don't even understand the word democracy. This one came in from Milo Phone Bill, says, now that the case is over, is Judge Juan's gag off of Trump? No, I don't think so. We got this one from Crash. Today is the first day of the second night of the long knives. Who will emerge as the Führer? Not sure, but they will now unleash the dogs and blame it on me and you. Dark Wake says, Biden and his disgraceful party have awoken the sleeping giant of the American people. We heard what happened and we are now awake. Voice of the People says, sorry, there it is. Sorry, the Declaration of Independence, not the Constitution. There you go. You corrected me. You sent that in before I made that correction. We got Sheila P says, pray, stay strong, and stay together. Mostly make your disgust known loudly. Mostly make your disgust known loudly. Talk about it. I agree. Sheila P, good to see you. Mima says, to my great American family here, I'm sending y'all lots of love and a huge hug. Indeed. Great comment, mate Mima. Let's come in here, give some hugs. We're not done yet. It's a little bit of a tough day, but we're not done yet. We got a lot of saving our country left to do. And I think it's going to be on the upward trajectory from here. Thank you, Mima. We got Indoctrination says, does this at least remove the gag? No, because they don't want him to talk about the judge's daughter or the judge or threaten the administration of justice and those things. We got Alexanderator says, this will be bad. I can't imagine the future consequences because of this trial. Curious what I'll hear on the news over here in Belgium. Can't wait for him to win in November. Took 2 days off to follow the elections. Haha, funny, Alexander. Yeah, the future consequences will be serious. And election season this year is going to be wild. It's going to be wild. It's getting more wild by the day. Thanks for saying that. Shout out to our friends in Belgium. Neurodivergent says, the day our justice system was taken off life support and will soon take its last breath. What a sad day. SCOTUS has dragged their feet and let this happen. Freedom Lover says judge's statement that nobody lied is a lie. Automatic reversal. And you're talking about when Todd Blanche was asking for a judgment of acquittal. How the judge, nobody committed perjury that I know of in my courtroom. Hey, what's up? Glocky says, holy crap. And he's not the only one posting stuff like this. Grant Cardone says, I'll never do business in New York again. Shout out to Grant. Andre says, I don't want to pick a side. We hope no one has to do so. What a disaster for the USA. What a joke. Yeah, I don't want to get out there and start getting into a civil war with our brothers and sisters out there. Are you kidding me? It's insane. How about we just have a competent government that just follows our Constitution? We already have a Constitution. It's pretty dang good. Let's just follow that one. A bad poet. SCOTUS needs to make a stand. Not holding our breath on that one, a bad poet. ELZ says the only thing they convicted Trump of is being a warrior of the Republic, and he emerges stronger. DJ says you should see President Trump's new merch. It's probably going to be pretty good now that he's a political prisoner. Hey, what's up? Me Too Me, been a member for 3 months, says Snake Poem is so unappreciated. God bless President Trump. 1/3 of the way to a baby. Jeffrey Adams, nope, gag order is still in effect unless, again, we missed something, but as far as we can tell, it's still in effect. Crash says the left can now can get rid of Joe, take him off the ballot. He has served his purpose. They'll now jettison him faster than an ejection seat in a fighter jet. E-Grab says the White House is too busy juicing up Joe so he can be camera ready for his big presser. We were waiting for that. We were waiting to see if he was going to be coming out. Hey, Eddie Van Zant says one word, Eddie from Texas, is Texit. If Texas left the union, we might have to be moving to Texas, you know. Ryan F. Politics can be tracked like a swing of the pendulum. We just swung way left with this verdict, and nobody should be surprised when it swings back to the right with the Trump election. Yes, he should prosecute all of them, and I will support it every which way. And honestly, you would even support corrupt prosecutors. Like, well, yeah, sorry, that was a little corrupt move there, but whatever. We live in the rules don't apply anymore, clearly. So why would we follow them? That's lunacy. S. Murphy says, just made my first political donation ever for Trump. Outstanding. Outstanding. Great to see you. S. Murphy on the locals. We got this one from Jason A. Says, the Dems wanted this, and now they're going to pay the price for their actions. They will. There'll be repercussions. Nothing comes for free. And they put a lot in this one. Iconic Mercat is bringing in 10 new members. Welcome. Holy F's coming in. Marlene S. Garrett P. Adam K. CJC. We got Streak 9 is here. Colette D. Chief V. Jerry W. Xavier L. All coming in as new members. Great to see you. Thank you, Iconic, for bringing them in. Woodchip Bill says, I thought those state charges were too old. What's with that? Well, they extended the statute of limitations because of COVID and the presidency, so they brought them anyways. Retired Navy says Trump will win in the end. Great comment. Retired Navy SCPO. I think you are right, sir. We got this one from Spiral. Says the left won this battle, but Trump will win the war. RSB, new supporter in the house. We got Freedom Lover bringing in 10 members. Lori V, Houston P, Yinzer, Alondra's coming in, Merms, Nightman's wife, Sarah Maggs. We got Mari Elena, Steph 07, and Julio brought in as members, courtesy of Freedom Lover. Jay Dow is here, says Trump 2024, Trump Jr. 2028. I think they are stuck with the Trumps until the middle of the century. I'm ready. Yeah, then I think Barron is eligible in what, 2054 or something? Prairie D says the Supreme Court can rule presidential immunity and this case can go away, right? Yes, I think that's true. I don't know the mechanism by which that would happen, but Trump, so in other words, Trump would have to appeal and say, I already said that I had immunity. The judge denied that. So on appeal, they would bring that in and say, yes, the Supreme Court says that you had it. You brought that up. You should have waited and you didn't. So the case could go away. We got Ella Membo for 3 months, says, hi, Rob. This is new for all of us. God help us all. It's new for all of us, even lawyers. Nobody's been through this before. First in American history. Democrats did that. Jennifer says, a big hug for Mr. Trump train in the chat, please. Multiple hugs for Trump. Thank you, Jennifer, for the comment. Of age homegirl basic female says the jury instructions basically forced a guilty verdict. 13 months as a membo, a year and then some. I think you're right. Once you got that, we read it here and we just kind of deflated. It's like, oh my gosh. He just laid it all out for him. Hey, Mr. Cranky Pants said, could Mr. Trump pardon himself when he becomes president? Not on this one, because this is a state crime, not a federal crime. So he wouldn't be able to do that. Liberum says, I want Rudy Giuliani as the AG for the Democrats so he can throw them all in jail. Well, that would be a nice full circle, wouldn't it? C. Warren says, thank you and chat for being my place for sanity in this crap show, Rob. I'm donating 2024 to Trump too, just because of these New York City morons. C. Warren. Great comment. A lot of donos going over there. Thank you for helping us stay sane as well, C. Warren. Really grateful you joined us today. We got Country MNC says, they're hoping we'll be crushed and take our eyes off what they're doing. Don't let it knock you off balance enough to continue the observation. Torgo the White on Local says, when they say, quote, our democracy, what they really mean is our hegemony, which is from Michael Malice. Houston Patriot says, going to be an interesting Oval Office at Rikers Island. He can run the whole country from there, I guess, if they want to go that route. Indoctrination says, there is no crueler tyranny than that which is perpetrated under the shield of the law and in the name of justice. From Baron de Montesquieu. Flag upside down from Indoctrination. C. John Membo for 15 months. That's a full year and then some, coming up on 2 full babies. Thank you, C. John. Etchy says, today was the first time ever I've donated to a candidate. I sent $50 to Trump 2024. Woodchip Bill says, I feel the same way now as I did when Biden was declared the winner of the election. Dirty deeds done dirt cheap. Mom of Kyler says, hope the Dems celebrate like this when Hunter gets convicted. Mom of Kyler. Good to see you, Mom of Kyler. I'm sure that they will not. Peng 1 says, Stan H. Tinch is here. Wings and Beaks. Bringing in Jeff G. Wendy L. All brought in courtesy of Peng. 5 new membos. And welcome aboard, new membos. Thanks, Peng, for bringing them in. Wild Things Forever says, Rob, how do I go about donating for Trump? Just want to be sure it goes to the right place. I would just go right to his website, DonaldJTrump.com, and follow the links there. Kaiser of Third Age says, I've heard from the RNC legal on the Benny Show talking like they won't ditch Trump. The RNC head hopefully will make announcements soon. Trump 2024. NY says, measured comments, 29 Palm Base near me. The Jets are all taking off. Stay sharp. Make sure if they decide to cast away our social contract, we will resist all tyranny. Uncle Shane, been a membo for 20 months as a membo. That's 2 babies and then some. Uncle Shane, thanks for being here, man, for 20 months. We've seen a lot of stuff, and it's going to get worse from there. Milo Phone Bill says, time to indict Biden on his money laundering schemes. Freedom Lover, bringing in Amiana, Liberty Lover, T. Oliver, Pathfinder, Felix Abel, Maelstrom, Lala, KTP, Jeremy P, JL is coming in, courtesy of Freedom Lover in the house. What's up? Guardian Angels joining us as a new supporter. Matt says, never forget Nuremberg and the Nazis, Secret Service protecting Biden, FBI agents, police who book Trump and protect the judge are just like a Nazi death camp guards. From Matt over on the tubes. Zachary T says, Nietzsche said that God is dead. I say justice is dead. Embarrassing for a country that prides itself on the presumption of innocence. We got Robert R says, every juror is a traitor. They know what they've done. They are no better than Benedict Arnold. Maybe they're happy as clams getting their guy. Salty Old Guy says, my first full red ballot incoming in November. Freedom Lovers bringing in 10 more membos. Norm, Jay, Mom's Wholesome Videos, NY's coming in. Devin, Bruce B, Linda G, PLM, Donna N, and Lao Tzu all coming in, courtesy of Freedom Lover in the house. Miss Ree, what's up? says, this is truly a sad day for Trump and his immediate family, and a sad day for us Americans and the MAGA family. What happens when the Supreme Court comes back with an acquittal? What happens to this stupid decision? Well, hopefully, when the president has immunity or when SCOTUS recognizes that Cohen's a liar or whatever, that it gets reversed. There's a new trial, or it is settled so badly. In other words, the case is severed. The evidence is severed so aggressively that they cannot retry it. And so Trump is ultimately acquitted. Iconic Meerkat bringing in 5 membos. Cat J, Barcaro, Don C, Captain Flatastic in the house, Adam M coming in as new membos. We got Zachary T. Says, don't assume that everyone sees what we see or that they will remember at the ballot box. We need to get out and tell people how and why this is wrong. Sentencing date is July 11th. I might have said July 10th. My apologies. Thanks for the correction, unknown Moses. We have Sue says, while the verdict to Trump's trial was being read, Biden authorized Ukrainians' use of U.S. military equipment for strikes directly inside Russia. Bad Poets here says that young guy behind Bragg knows he was part of a corrupt trial. Watch his face as Bragg was talking. Bodie says it doesn't matter how much support Trump gets. They will rig and steal the election again. Tasadakos says the judicial system was already corrupt or this wouldn't have happened. This only exposed the depth of the corruption. Kat Zapp says, I don't want immunity for Biden. That would be a travesty. We have Alex says, when the defense appeals, will it pause the sentence? Depends on what the judge does with that. He might say no. For example, Peter Navarro is appealing and he's sitting in prison. Zachary T says, with the felony convictions, is it possible for them to restrict his ability to cross state lines? That would keep him from campaigning. Well, if the sentence is he's on house arrest, then yes, I think that the judge could do that. We have this one from Jason A. Says the actual citizens are going to pay the price for all of this. We need to stand up and call on the Supreme Court to turn this around. Glocky shared another one from Lee Zeldin. Chris D says, so he is guilty of allocating legal expenses as legal expenditures. Go figure. I've seen and endured a trial like this. It was a quote, get that guy, a businessman, hated by bureaucrats, but no crimes committed. Thanks heaps. Thank you, Chris. Nice comment. Yeah, and it sounds like there's a pattern here. This is a repeat thing. It just happens to be with the president. Senior Chief says, I donated $100 to Trump, 10% to you. Oh, thank you. But it didn't show. Here's another one. Hopefully it makes it to you, not pocketed by Ruben. Keep up the great work, Rob. Thank you for filling the void left by the media. Thank you, Senior Chief. We got Kyle J is here and 51K. Says, Rob, I asked that all our Watcher family with an American flag to please fly Old Glory upside down in recognition of what has been allowed to happen. If there was ever a time these days in the United States where there was distress, that day is today. Let everyone who sees these flags take notice and make today not a dark day, but a day of our awakening. We got this one from Kyle J. New Dono. Thank you, Kyle, for sending that one in. K. Thomas says, have faith. Trump didn't look too worried. Wondered how the Menendez trial will pan out. Really think President Trump is 3 steps ahead. Thanks for covering it, from K. Thomas. Raymond L. says, love you, Rob. Money's tight. Last membo message. Sorry to see you go, Raymond. Thanks for being here as a membo. We appreciated our time together, and I'm glad to have you with us. We'll see you back here. Hopefully you enjoy the show. Judo Joe Black is a new supporter. Great to have you, Judo Joe Black. Cher says, I wonder if not guilty was a choice for the jurors. It was a choice. I don't know if you mean on the verdict form, or if somebody was maybe putting some pressure on them some which way. SB's here, says, thank you for your calm and sensible coverage, Rob. Thank you, SB. Thanks for being a membo 1/3 of the way to a baby. Glad to have you here. Kyle J says, can Trump pardon himself? No, not on this one. Only federal stuff, since he would be the president. Confused Abyssinian Cat with a very nice dono. Thank you, Confused Abyssinian Cat, for sending that one in. No question, but very grateful for the support. We got Mama Wheat says, Biden and Harris, they have a statement on X. Of course they do. Thanks for the flag on that, Mama Wheat. CJL says, the judge's jury instructions were unconstitutional. Does this mean that we can prosecute members of Congress now? Like Schiff? Frank T says stock market crashes tomorrow. We'll see if it does. Fred Petamonte says 81 million votes does not mean 81 million voters. From Fred. Glocky sharing this one says Democrats have realized how bad they're messing up in real time tonight. We got John Williamson says, since this state court prosecuted a federal election statute, is it possible it could be reviewed by a federal court? That's a great question. I think you could make the argument. I don't know if they would accept it, though. Good to see you, John. Confused Abyssinian Cat with another one. Thank you, Confused Abyssinian Cat. Big Red says, we have just witnessed one of the most infamous defining moments in our great nation's history. Sad times indeed. Rub some dirt on it says, the website is up again. I got my donation in. Great to see you. Rub some dirt on it. No Cowakin says, thanks for all the messages. Oh, man, you guys sent a lot of donos. I'm really grateful for that. Thank you for that. We're going to have to pause and restart our locals feed and get this reconnected so that we can carry on. And let me fire that up as we have a short pause right now. So we're going to flip this on. Locals, part number 2 will be coming in very shortly. And so while we're getting this queued up, let's see what Laura Ingraham has to say.
You've told every pollster that you care about. Think again. Their focus has been entirely on holding on to power with an iron fist. And that required their attempts to humiliate Donald Trump, of course, with the ultimate goal of removing him from the campaign trail, which they hope the sentencing actually will do. So Democrats, of course, are going to salivate over the prospect that a man with Secret Service protection leading in most of the polls could be marched off to jail. Phew.
All right. So that's Laura. No Cowakin says, thanks for the messages all. Great to have that one come in. Thank you, No Cowakin. Streakin, been a membo for 3 months, 1/3 of the way to a baby. Streak 9. We got this one from Jay Dell. Says, I'm ready for the reports on how much money was donated after this travesty of justice. May God bless you and may God bless America. Great to see you, Jay Dell. Thanks for the dono. CL Frog in the house is a new supporter over on the YouTubes. Great to see you, CL Frog. We got Revco says they want people to do something stupid over this. We can't get pulled into that. They'll use it like another J6 to attack the right. Keep calm. Yeah, I appreciate that. I think that's right. I'm not worried about anybody here. I'm not worried about our community, our audience, our friends. I'm worried about the feds, the FBI, and people like Ray Epps and what they're up to. Good to see you, Rev. We got this one from Chelsea Girl. Says Trump has a press conference tomorrow morning, 11 a.m., Trump Tower Atrium. That'll be fun. We might be live when that's happening. Okay. What's up? Knox says Trump's site is back up. I just donated. The last 5 donations were all from us watchers. That's amazing. It's happening, my friends. It's happening. Hey, T.A. Holloway says our inability to trust our courts and our elections is a worse problem than the oppression under the intolerable acts. Patience and tolerance won't make this go away. From T.A. Holloway. Sheila P. says, bringing in 10 membos. Mr. Ball, Kevin B. Scoops coming in. Ann A. Christine E. D. Programs here. Spiral Games. Will. Crappy Computer is joining us. Old Man JM in the house, brought in courtesy of Sheila P. Great to have you. New membos, and thank you, Sheila, for bringing them in. Brian L. is another dono. Thank you, Brian, for sending that one. Wojo says, I will not stop laughing when Trump wins the election and pardons himself. And he could do that for sure for his federal cases. 904 Classic says, judge and jurors probably smoke electric cigarettes and drive liberal Priuses. Haha. Ford stands for fix it again, Tony. God bless America and God bless Chevy. Amazing. Good to see you, 904. Hey, Kurt Leland. Thank you, Kurt, for the nice dono. Wojo says, I just found out. I will not be laughing. Florida Bob says, Rob, Obama is now in play for Benghazi. Biden will be in play for Ukraine. Bush is now in play for 9/11. Pandora's box is now open. What's up? Cheryl F. is a new supporter. Welcome aboard, Cheryl. Michael A. coming in the house. Nice to have you, Michael. Jennifer says, I'm speechless, stunned. I feel the world is over. I will hibernate for the night and lick my wounds. We'll see you back here, Gentifer. It was a rough day, but there will be a new coalition that forms as a result of this, and it's going to be powerful. We have Ja S as a new supporter. Welcome aboard, Ja. Thanks for becoming a membo. Call Me Legend says, what happened to my $20 dono message? It's a good question, Call Me Legend. I'm not sure. Did it go through? I didn't see it. What's up? Geg's here. If you have another message, you can try sending it again, but in the chat right now, I'll keep my eye out for you. Call Me Legend. Drop your comment again. Let me see if I can flag it. I'm watching the chat. We'll see if it comes across. Bring me another Democrat, says Geg. That looks like a Smurf or something. Gen X Brat. What's up? Gen X Brat is in the house. Sent in this dono. Thank you for that, Gen X Brat. True Seekers in the house says, do not swallow the bait offered by the enemy. Do not interfere with an army that is returning home. Sun Tzu, The Art of War. Hey, it's the Munkets is bringing in new membos. Anthony M is coming in. Doc B. Revco's coming in. Charlotte, Shell B. We got Cheryl and T, Kimberly G, Tim M, Obi, and Frank T in the house. Tree Climbers bringing in 5 new membos. Miss M, Michelle, Kelly Ann, Virginia H, Don D, Tree Climber, you're the man. Thanks for bringing in 5 new membos. Tony Hay bringing in 10 new membos. Newt Gadget says, import from third world countries, become a third world country. Sham trial is done now. Enjoy the idiotic celebrations for the next couple of days. The real verdict will be in November 5th, 2024. And is this weird or what? So this comment, Newt Gadget, literally just came up on the screen. You have this in real time. And Newt Gingrich showed up on Fox.
You have now the most corrupt system.
How does that
going
work?
After a political leader in American history. We've never seen anything like this.
That's weird, right?
I think it has a couple of problems. One is that Donald Trump has grown in stature all through this experience. I mean, the number of people who say to me they can't imagine how he's been able to stand up and take this kind of a beating and keep coming. I think he's now a bigger figure than he was when the trial started, and it's one of the things the left doesn't understand. I also think that the depth of the corruption is going to change things. And by the way, it doesn't solve any of Biden's problems. People are going to go to the grocery store and they're going to find it's too expensive. They're going to find they can't afford to buy a house. They're going to find that gasoline's going to start back up again. They're going to find that there are illegal immigrants. None of this is going to affect the long run. And I think, as you were saying earlier, and this happened, ironically, the website for Donald Trump collapsed this afternoon because so many people went to it spontaneously. I think you're going to find people who are for Trump are deeply enraged, feel that not only is this a sad day, but it's an infuriating day. And I think that the amount of energy that's going to be available for Trump is going to go up very, very dramatically.
Yeah, oh yeah.
While it's clear that you have a cognitively impaired, decaying president who can barely figure out what he's doing.
Well, Newt, I think the left doesn't quite understand that it's bitten off more than it can chew here.
Yeah, I think she's right. All right, so Newt, thank you for that dono. Kurt Leland, thank you for this dono, for sending this one in. Amazing, appreciate your incredible support. We got Chris N says, best show on the internet. Pain from Chris N. Thank you for saying that, Chris. I don't know if that's true. Probably not. But what's up? Dolphin Fan is the man, bringing in 20 new membos. My goodness. Look at this. We got Janet L, Robert S. We got Jimmy E. Beautifully Inappropriate's coming in. Karen O, Andy K, JG, Judy O, Andy F, Dirk from Texas, Buddy Love, Jared W, Riley Leafson. We got B Torn, Alien Robot Ghost, Johnny Commodi, Kathy B, Keister Bunny, and David M, all gifted membos, courtesy of our friend. Dolphin Fan is the man in the house. Gen X Brat says, is this how Joe Biden gets out of the debate? Is this how that works? Sonic Dog Magic is a new supporter. Sonic Dog Magic, welcome aboard. Sonic Dog Magic. Sweet Potato is in the house. Good to see you, Sweet. So my mom saw my Watching the Watchers flippies, and she asked if I was a closet Biden supporter. She didn't get it, and I died inside. Oh, that's funny. So she didn't get it. Yeah, some people don't get it. The flip-flops. We have the Biden flip-flops on the ground over there, but that's pretty funny. You can get a pair of those at robertgovea.com. Thank you, Sweet. Shout out to your mom. Hey, call me legend, says, how could they convict on the charges based on the invoices that Cohen submitted? Well, they say Trump was the cause of those. It was Trump's conspiracy, and he enrolled Cohen into it. Rebecca P., what's up? As a new supporter, so great to have you. And Isa Al-Ghazi says, to quote Bugs Bunny, of course, this means war. The Dems are doomed. Yeah, and someone mentioned that they had a statement out, so we'll go see what they posted, but thank you, Isa. We have In the Island of Tadium. Says, I just donated $30 for the first time ever. Love the channel. Keep up the good work. Thank you. In the Land of Toddlim. That's a fun name. Good to see you, Todd. And thanks for the dono, and thanks for donating to Trump. He's going to put it to good use. And Cat Zap says, wait, the felony conviction is based on federal election law. So that makes it federal, thus Trump can pardon himself. So we don't know that, honestly. We don't actually know that. The criminal charges here are state charges, which are the state level business record violations. They said that the object offense could have been a federal election crime, but the jurors didn't have to be unanimous on that. So they're not considering it an element of the offense. I think that there could be an argument that they used, we don't even know what the jury form looks like, but there's an argument that they were leaning on federal law outside of their jurisdiction, but they're state level criminal charges. So I think Trump would have a difficult time pardoning himself on those. What's up, Confused Abyssinian Cat in the house? Thank you for sending this one in. And Chelsea Girl, our new supporter, also joining us on the YouTubes. And so, amazing donos, my friends. Thank you so much for sending all of those in. Extremely generous day, and I'm thankful for you sending those in. Let's say hello to our friends on X very briefly. We are going to wrap it up. Go over to watchingthewatchers.locals.com for our members-only after party. And we then will come back tomorrow in the morning for an early stream, and it will be our only stream of the day, and it will be taking place at 7 a.m. my time and 10 a.m. East Coast time. So we'll have a couple of other things to debrief. The community calendar is now updated at robertgovea.com, so you can come join us for the streams tomorrow. Let's say hello to our friends on X on the day. Who is out and joining us? We've got some great comments. We got Johnny Boy. Rob, he says, Rob, there's only one real good boy here. So this is Johnny in the house. There's only one real good boy here. All right, so Donnie and Johnny are going to have to duke it out over there in Vegas. Hey, what's up? No, something happened on my end. I don't know what happened with my screen. So what's up? Shout outs to Dark Side Digital, Occupied American, Indoctrination. Yeah, Occupied says it died in 2020. Great point. Completely agree. Yeah, the country was dead in 2020 when everybody just rolled over. Raven Madness, what's up? Good to see you. Flags upside down. Says, cool that Govea used tonight's show to allow catharsis among his many listeners who were disgusted by today's verdict. Yeah, we go through it together, man. Catharsis is for me. It's like therapy for me. Otherwise, I'm here throwing stuff around the room, banging on desks. What happened to our country? And we get to do it together. It's much better. What's up, Rob? And here, yeah, this is a good meme from True Patriot. This was me voting for Trump in 2016. Then this was me voting for Trump in 2020. This is me voting for Trump in 2024. Things have gotten a little bit serious, you could say. All right, so what's up? Miss Eva says, hey, thanks. Listening to you makes me feel calmer. Hey, thanks for saying that, Miss Eva. Hanging out with you makes me feel calmer. Thank you for analyzing this, helping to bring some hope. Thanks, Jeff. Good to see you. Rob's over there. Texas Angle. We got Kat Johnson. Good to see you. We've got Tacita, Raven Madness, I Gotta Rock, Anubis in the house, CF Rob. Good to see everybody. All of our ex-friends. Sandy says, Rob, you're killing me with this Nicole Wallace crap. All right, turn her off. It's painful. It's painful to listen to some of these people, but we have to do it. It's for our own good to know what these wackos are saying out there. Hey, Maria K, we got some new donos coming in. Maria K says, hey, it's the Munkets for sure. Much love to Tony. Tony, hey, Munkets. Boopsy is here, says, yes, God gave us Trump. What do we do with it? Well, at the current status, we vote. Good to see you. 1917 Beamer says, Cohen is going to find out nobody's going to talk to him now that he's served their purpose. They'll just throw him overboard with the rest of their useful idiots. We got Mary Nolan. What's up, Mary? Welcome aboard. New supporter in the house over on the tubes. NY says, so I worked overnight last night and just woke up to the verdict, deciding on my car decal, and I decided on appeal to heaven. I cry inside when I see the flat upside down. An appeal to heaven. Ivan Popovich says, I was able to donate $100 on the site. Rob, you were awesome bringing the news. Thank you, Ivan. Great news. That's great news, man. Support the president. It will be very nice to have a big fat number to shove in the Democrats' faces. What's up? Something beautiful for today. I think we deserve it, from Geegum Geegum. She's sharing a nice link. It's a flash of light that is created, so make sure you check out that status over on Locals. Sergeant GPS says, what happened to the one Trump supporter on the jury? That dude followed him on True Social. Fake supporter just folded quickly under pressure. We don't even know if he's a supporter. Maybe he's just on X. Who knows? But it's if you're on that jury and you have those instructions, it's very hard to come out with a not guilty verdict. We read it. It's insane. You could just pick whatever you wanted. And you can make reasonable inferences, and you can choose to believe it or not. And the amount of pressure in that room, plus they all hate Trump by default anyways, it's basically impossible. So it's what we expected. But now they have revealed themselves. It's like, remember that movie Constantine with Keanu? And he calls the demons into the light. He's like, show yourself into the light. Ah! And I think it's actually the archangel Gabriel who comes down. He's like, into the light I command thee or something. And they come out. They come out of the darkness. That's what's happening. And now a lot of people are able to see it. That's good news. What's up, Sergeant? Hey, Twizzles is in the house. Great to see you, Twizzles. Thanks for becoming a supporter. And we had some great donos come in, my friends. Sleek Boar sent this one in. Says, thanks, Rob. I also saw Crystal H says, if you can't donate money, donate your time. I did both. On WinRed, there's a link to volunteer. I opted for door knocking, phone banking, poll watching, turning out targeted voters. Do the same. Crystal H with a great suggestion. Check this out from Crystal. Crystal H, 0908. I did it all. I opted for door knocking, phone banking, poll watcher, turning out targeted voters. You can do it too, my friends. Great comment from Crystal. Yeah, let's get involved. Let's do something. We got to get involved. Hey, Rob says, if they use something out of their jurisdiction that should compromise the state case because it invalidates the predicate, which brings the case to the statute of limitations. Yeah, I think you're right. The FECA stuff should have never been included in any of these instructions, but it was. What's up, Rob? Good to see you. Sleek Boar says, thanks, Rob. Thank you. And my friends, so many awesome donos. Really, thank you so much for sending those in. I know we went quickly through them, but that's because we were a little bit pressed for time, and I'm grateful for them. Thank you so much for joining us. It was a historic day. Not a great day, but a day, an experience that we've gone through nonetheless. We'll mark this down in the history books. Say we were here, we went through it, we covered it when it happened, and then we'll ask ourselves, what are we going to do about it? Are we just going to sit by as idle observers of history, or are we going to get involved, animated and engaged, and stay engaged from now through November and beyond? I know where we're going here. I think you know the answer too. That's why you're here. And so we're grateful that you joined us. Thanks for supporting us today, my friends. Very, very generous, and I really do appreciate it. Jeffrey A., don't mind me so fast on the clipping, man, says, I just donated $47 to Trump. Sergeant GPS, man, that's a good dono. Sergeant GPS says, Rob, you're always shining that big, beautiful light. I appreciate your insights. Thank you, Sergeant. I appreciate you being here, man. We're going through this stuff together. Honestly, I'd be a little bit nuts if we didn't have this to go through together. So I'm grateful for you. All right. So my friends, the plan is we're going over to watchingthewatchers.locals.com. We're going to go hang out there for a little bit, do a short after party, catch some comments. Reminder, tomorrow we'll be live early. We've got a couple segments that we didn't get to today because of this breaking news. So we'll hit those and then we'll wrap it up early on a Friday. I've got all-day event that will be taking place tomorrow and on Saturday. So the Saturday schedule will change too. But it's going to be great. So we got an early morning stream tomorrow. We'll process the rest of what happens tonight, see if there's any more reaction. We'd love to have you join us back here tomorrow in the morning to get into it again. So thanks for subscribing. Thanks for liking this video. Thanks for sharing this content with a friend or family member. Thanks for inviting them over here to join us because we got business to attend to. Before we wrap up, I want to thank the mods and the meme smiths, our friends K Bean, of course, Just Cause, Playin' Hooky, Ronnie Cole, Zach Nichols, Janek, Dog Digger, Economy Pilot, Donut Mind Me, who was absolutely just killing it today with John McGarvey, man. Tons of super chats came in and you guys made it super easy. So thank you both for doing that. John McGarvey, our friend, Donut Mind Me, Economy Pilot, Carrie B, Zulu's in the house, our meme smith, Gigum Gigum, memeing it up with our spinach meme today and a bunch of inspirational posts for our friends on Locals. Trump is now Popeye and he's about to unleash. It's going to be great. Nathan, N810, Sleepy Dog Lee, Glocky McGlock, and our Doc Master Elliot in the house. My friends, that is it for us on the day right after we say hello to Matt. He says, just threw away my New York hat and shirts. Will never wear anything New York ever again. Yeah, good call. What's up? Cowboy Rob, Membo for 5 months, Trump 2024. Good to see you, Cowboy Rob. And Female Leo is our newest supporter in the house. Very nice to have you aboard as well, Female Leo. That, my friends, is it for us on the day. Thank you so much for joining us. A little bit of a rough day today. So if you have some ice cream at home, have yourself a scoop. Enjoy a little bit because it's only a temporary day. Tomorrow will be a fresh new day and the battle continues. We'll be here ready to go. And I hope that you join us because as we continue this on, we're going to need to see you right back here so that together, with your help, we can shine that big, beautiful spotlight of accountability and transparency down upon our system with the hope of finding justice. Make it a beautiful night, my friends. Sleep very well. See you right back here in the morning. Bye-bye.